Hello, everyone. Welcome to Zen and Fanfics. Today we are featuring What If Deku Was Mirko's son with leveling system? The story is written by Wolf React on Wattpad. Before we start, please like and subscribe for more content. Now let's dive into the story. Deku. Sup, I'm Izuku Usagiyama. I would gain my whole backstory about how the Yagis kicked me out, how I was on the streets for 2 years and got taken by the rabbit hero, but that would take too much of my time before I forget this is story how I become the shadow monarch in another world. Deku POV, it's been 8 years since I got adopted by Mirko. I got a text from May's text. Hey Izuku, we got a few street races in 3 months. I blink, and I'm inside of a room with a bunch of stone statues. I look around confused, I turn to my left, and come face to face with a statue holding some kind of tablet. I look at it's confused, but then the tablet glitches, and it gets translated Deku. What the? Thou shalt worship God, thou shalt praise God, thou shalt show thy faith. I look around to see the door, and I walk towards it. I put my hands on it to open it, but as soon as I touch it, I wake up in front of the statue again. I turn to the door and see BLD splattering at Deku. Okay, what kind of return? By death, SHD is this. I look around, and I see the eyes of the giant statue in the center move before I could say anything. The art is glow, and I get obliterated. I wake up in front of the statue again. I let out a deep sigh, walk to the big statue, and then kneel before it. I see it have a creepy smile, but I then look around confused about what's happened next. I then see the giant statue get up and start walking towards me. I start running away from the statue, and I eventually run out of breath and get squashed at wake up in front of the same statue and shake my head. I then notice that the statue still has its smile Deku. So, it's like a video game at autosave after every order hold up. I quickly notice that there are 8 statues holding weapons and 8 holding instruments. I see the giant one stand up, and I book it to a cautious inch instrument. And as soon as I get close, it starts to play. I then try to run to the next one. But I get crushed. I then wake up, unfold to my knees, vomiting. I hear the instrument that I went to continue to play, Deku. This is going to take a while, the statue, and I stand up and sink. I then rush at the remaining ones. I die 5 more times before managing to get to the last one. I kneel over after waking up and vomiting. I stand up on shaky legs, my eyes locked with this statue, and the statue's grin grows even bigger. Deku, if you want me, then come at me, bro. I get into a running stance that my mom usually takes when she's going full speed. I throw off my shirt and my bag. The statue slowly stands up with its eyes glowing orange. I slide between its legs, but land in front of the shield. Deku. Oh, CRP. The shield slams down on my leg, cutting it off. I decided to do the most stupid thing. Deku. Time to do a Link Biscuit and just keep rolling. I go on my side and roll around straight over to the last instrument, let out a huge sigh. That's when my eyes lock with the center as it. So he starts to rise. I roll to the center and sigh, Deku, how am I supposed to show thy faith? Well, CRP. I look around and see a one-handed black sword with a black rose and thorns. I immediately pick it up with one hand and get a slight grin. Deku. Well, I'm not going to sit down and die. I hope on one leg and start rushing at the statues and manage to chip one of their blades, but the one with the shield smacks meat onto the altar. I'm the one with the sword stabs me in the arm. The one with the spear goes to stab me. Deku. It looks like I won't be seeing you again, Mom. Anti-Ryuko Mei Yui. In Keynote, I close my eyes waiting for the impending doom when I open and see a voting system window system. Your heart will stop in 0.07. If you choose not to accept, will you accept yes/no? Deku. I might be going crazy, but what do I have to lose? I accept. My vision turns black. May POV, I hear it. But in the living room, I walk to see Izuku face first on the couch with one arm of his sleeve and one of his trousers like ripped off, and BLD standing it. I put my hand on his head to make sure he doesn't have a fever. May. Okay, what is going on? Deku POV. I slowly wake up and come face to face with May. Deku. How long was I out, May? Around 12 hours now. Explain why you ended up on my couch. I then explain everything that happened to me over the next 2 weeks. Deku finds out about the penalty zone and about Gates' system player status. Name Izuku Usagiyama, level 19, age 14, gender male, height 5'7", quirk locked title. One who overcame death title's effects. Damage will increase by percentage based on how much percent of HP you lose. Strength 45, agility 45, vitality 19, intelligence 30, perception 20. I'm helping May fix a car at her house garage. I am under the car, a pink-red race car with yellow stripes. May. It's almost midnight. I forgot to ask, what is your daily quest, Deku? 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and a 10K run, May. And rewards, Deku. 2 stat points and a box with a random item, May. Seems fair enough, but what have you told your mom about seeing out here all the time, Deku? I told her I need some personal room, so she doesn't influence me while the 10 months to the entrance exam. I slide from under and lower the car system. New daily quest 0 out of 100 push-ups, 0 out of 100 sit-ups, 0 out of 100 squats, 0 / 10-kilometer run. I reach into my infantry and pull out a reward box. I open it to reveal a key system item description. C rank dungeon gate ninja type dungeon open in Devers Agency Deku. So there are different types. It's good to know where I will be heading out and completing this dungeon. May casually shrugs. I grab my sword and head to Endeavor's agency and opens the portal. 6 villains have their hands in their pockets and walk into the portal behind me. Villain leader. Sweet Quirkot, so what is this place? I immediately turn around, point my sword at them. I then realize that they're not monsters, so I put my blade down. Deku. My quirk allows me to create a portal to another dimension where I can train against monsters. Villain 1. So we can kill people in here. That's good to know. I look at them all and see all of the name tags are just villain leader and villain number, and they're all orange. 5 kunais go flying at me and swing my blade, parring all of the kunais. I pick them up and see 2 people dressed in all black with red eyes. Villain leader. This is going to be fun. I see the villain leader's hands get a metallic glint and his nails grow into claws. He walks to both of the ninjas and rips their heads off. The villains take the lead as I'm staining in the backing off the ones that are trying to sneak attack us. We then get an old-style Japanese house. One of the villains open the door to a snow-white nine-tailed fox. The nine-tailed fox slowly opens its eyes to glare us all down. That's when its eyes start to glow, and all of these villains pass out while having a creepy smile. SBO. I am SBO, the nine-tailed fox that got this temple, and it seems you are immune to my charm. May I know your name, human Deku? Izuku Usagiyama. And is it weird, SBO? My attack makes you live your wildest fantasies while I slowly drain your life force, and yet you aren't even face system. Quest make a familiar, make the nine-tailed fox submit to you. Reward job change. Quest 1. 000 XP, orb of plus 5 levels, SSS, familiar Deku. Do you want to do a little waiver, SBO? It's been a while since a human has had the guts to challenge me. I'll humor you, Deku. We have a little spa, first one to yield, because the other servant, the nine-tailed fox, has a sly smoke and a small purple flame ignite, and in a reverse burning a contract forms. I look over the contract. Deku. Do you mind if I make a few changes, SBO? Sure, but I will check it before I sign it. I change up the contract a lot and fix some loopholes. I then pass the contract to her, and she reads it over. SBO. Whoever wins to the sparring match will become a familiar to the other party. 70-30, and will have to obey to the best of their abilities. Okay, I understand this contract, and I won't go into all the details, but why is it a 70-30 contract, not 100-0 Deku? That way we still have free will, but we have to still obey, and so we'll give our own opinions on things. And how about no mental tricks, SBO? I accept your terms now. Shall we begin? I point my sword towards her and immediately rush at her. She lets out a smirk, and a fireball appears on the end of each of her tails and fights straight towards me. I slice them in half and nip her cheek with the blade system. New skill unlocked. BLD. Level 1, enter a BLD state which decreasing your damage token by 5% and increasing damage to a selected enemy by 10%, cost 1 MP a second. I activate BLD. Weakening her attacks, I rush, slicing one of her legs off. She lets out a raw and glaze at me. I let out your amused chuckle and keep rushing at her. Would hit him run tactics. She lies down, breathing heavy, cut in small scratches and lost a lot of BLD. I walk directly in front of her, putting my blade to her nose. SBO. I yield. The contract flares back into existence and then burns away. A small glow happens, and an elegant lady wearing a white dress, her eyes are a scarlet red with her 9 tails beamed white, then freshly laid snow. SBO. So what should we do with these, Mr.? I wouldn't mind using them as a snack. I raise a finger tongue, and she stops, slightly pouting, but obeying. System completed. Quest make a familiar. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, familiar info. Name, SBO. Age, 185 gender. Female height. 7'3" new skill unlocked. Familiar summon level 1 allows you to summon your familiar whenever you want. What both ways cooldown 2 hours. Leveling up skill will reduce the cooldown. New system functions. Enabled mini-map job change. Quest shop weapon and armor gacha. New start unlocked. Luck will help you getting rare items from drops and in the gacha roll. New skill. Perseverance. When your health points drop to 1, you will gain at 60 seconds of immortality, and your HP will go up by 0.2% per second until immortality runs out. One friend request enabled. Add one random person to the system. Warning, they will start at level 1. Familiar cannot be added to system. You have reached level 25. Daily quest has been upgraded. Warning, daily quest has been reset. Since upgraded. Push-ups 0, 200 setup 0, 200 squats 0, 200 0, /20 kilometers ran. I look at the whole system. Notifications, and my eyes go wide. SPO walks over my shoulder and sees the system. Her eyes narrow when she sees the familiar quest. SPO. So, I was just a quest. Deku. Kinda yes, sorry, I didn't want to make it seem like it was quest, more of a challenge. She shrubs and put her arms around my neck. That's when the villains start to grow away. Deku hide. SPO snaps her fingers and goes completely invisible. I can see her outlines as she walks to a corner glaring at the villain leader. Wow. My head's killing me. Oh, kid. So I'm guessing you killed that fox. The villain leader looks at all other villains, a slight smile. That's when one of the villains points his hand directly at me and shoots a fireball. I get sent flying directly into a wall. System. HP 1/1. 257 Perseverance has been activated. System. Emergency quest. Lead you to the grave. Eliminate the villain 0/6. If not, instead completed. Heart will stop immediately. I slowly get up, black steam coming off my legs and shoulders. Stumble forward to the center of the room. Villain leader. Hey man, I thought I told you to kill the brat. Villain 1. I guess I didn't put too much power into that one, sorry. Just never have to kill a kid before. Deku. You hunt and hunt killing innocents now. I want to know, are the hunters ready to be preyed upon? Villain 2. Hey boss, think this kid lost it. The second lower villain walks up to me and puts his hand over my shoulder. Villain 2. Are we ready to be preyed upon? What can a brat like you? Even, I pull out a venom dagger. It's a dagger with an axe like got a golden serpent head and a leather strap handle with a stinger on the end, and put to his throat. I then slice his head off, clean off his body, falls to the ground. System. 1/6 eliminated. Deku. I just killed somebody. A person. Even if I said the system made me do it, I still ended a man's life. But it's either their life or mine. So I can't back down now. It's only the strong that survives. Villain 1. Go to hell. He holds both of his hands out, shooting small daggers at me. I use my dagger and slice them out of the air. Villain 3 and 4 rush at me, one of them growing of their bones into spikes that stick out of his body, and the other ignite in his fists and black flames. I immediately disappear from this side and stab Villain 3 in the back of the neck. I pull out my blade, grab Villain for arm, pulling in close, and stab his stomach. Villain 1. SHD. What kind of high school kid moves like that? Villain 3 and 4 slowly get back up and start coughing out BLD from the dangerous venom. Villain leader. Max. Villain 5. Alright, I turn around and slash both of the poison villains in the chest, killing them. I look at Villain 2 and disappear. I then stop him directly in the back of the throat. Villain 5. Die. He shoots people of compressed air directly at me, but I dodged it and get right in front of him and stab him in the heart and rip it out to his side. System. 5/6 eliminated. SPO. Wow, he's so strong, and he seems even more powerful than when he fought me. Villain leader. Just die. A red aura surrounds the villain leader, but then I dash right at him and grab his face, slimming his head straight down. He slowly gets up, glaring at me. Villain leader. Missing kid if you want money, women. I slowly walk directly in front of him and spam BLD. Dash. System. BLD. Level up. Warning, you have maxed out BLD. Level. Deku. People like you disgust me. The villain leader gets angry again, and his aura flares up. Villain leader. Haha, your monster was just like us, and if you kill me, my brother will. You start laughing like in the same psychopath, and I cut his head clean off. I then fall back and land on my, but SPO walks up to me and put her hand on my shoulder. SPO. I'm guessing this is your first kill, Deku. Yes. Yes, it was. System. Level up new skill, I'm the storm that is approaching allows you to quick draw slicing through anything 3 foot 000 m. P requires a sword quirk unlocked. Please choose one of the following Deku. 5 strength, 10 agility, 20 luck, open gotcha weapons. I see you will start a spin and a Cortana system. You've got Yamato. I pull out my new weapon and see it's just a plain katana. I open the weapon's info system. Weapon info Yamato attack 90% a sword that can cut through anything. The wheel's fit can slice through space to create portals. Must know where to be will only work in the same dimension, won't work through gates or another world. Deku. SBO, let's leave this place. SBO. I will carry you. I get on SBO back. The portal to get out of the dungeon opens, but I look at the 6th villain. Bodies. SBO. I Deku. I'm going to sleep. Wake me up when we're outside the dungeon. Mirko POV. Waking up. It's been 2 weeks since I last saw Izuku. I see my girlfriend Fuyumi. Todoroki. Mirko. Hey Fuyumi, time to get up. Fuyumi. Mirko, no, I have to deal with the Yagis tomorrow at the family gathering. Besides, when am I going to see your boy Mirko? I will track him to the gathering. I pull out my phone and text Izuku. Mirko text. Hey kiddo, my girlfriend having a family covering and you're coming whether you like it or not. Deku text. Okay Mirko. Right, he's coming. Fuyumi. Can I at least know his name? I jump on top of her. Deku POV. I slowly wake up outside of Endeavor's agency, still on SBO. Back. SBO. Are you up, sir? Deku. Yeah, SBO. Your new weapon disappear when I try to pick it up. Deku. Only I can wield the weapons from the system. I get off her back, and we start walking to May's house, and we enter and see a pouting May. Tomorrow you're heading to your mom's girlfriend's family gathering. I look around to see my phone in her hand. Deku. I'm not go. System. New quest, meet the in-laws, reward free max skill. Orbs, new quest, race against the clock, complete your job change quest before the Catherine, reward new skill. I am atomic. Deku do. SBO. Who is this lady? I quickly look away from the system to see May and SBO getting ready to fight. I quickly summon SBO right next to me and grab the back of her kimono. May. Okay, I'm guessing something to involve the system. Deku. Well, this is complicated, but long story short, the system gave me a quest, and she became my familiar. May. Aren't familiars usually animals? SBO. I mean nine-tailed fox spirit, and since you're cool with my MSTR, I guess I have to be May. And I'm guessing that dough. Budget system gives you a quest. Deku. 2 quests, when I got to do my job change quest before I had to be gathering, and the other to attend the gallery. So yeah, I'm going to be heading out to do my job quest. I look at the clock and see it's 10 p.m. I'm so surprised at how long we were in that dungeon. But I do remember the dungeon and outside. Are you shrugged and headed to the same alleyway where Mom and Aunt Ryuko. I put my key into the wall. Hey, black portal appears in front of me, and I take a step. Through I end up in a hole of what seems to be a very old castle. I walk down the hallway. I immediately pull out Yamato and swing it behind me. I cut a knight directly in her. That's when for 10 ninja come out of invisible and rush at me. I rush and dodging their attacks. While attacking back after I kill them, I stop and look around, then my eyes lock on the system window system. Warning, in this job change quest, there is no leveling up until the end. Full recovery has been disabled until job change. Quest has been completed. Summon familiar has been disabled. Deku. Well, this just got harder. I could turn around to face the door at the end of the hallway, but then an army of knight walk out, sandwich shields, and some with swords, axes, and spears. You rush at them, pulling out my other sword and dual wielding system. New skill unlocked. Weapon mastery. Player has gained a profession with weapons. Weapon mastery level 1 gives a X2 attack bonus passive. I continue to rush at them. I then see I haven't even dealt with half. Deku. Okay, time to give this a try. I kept in a quick draw stance while facing down all of the knights. Deku, you shall die. I immediately unsheath my sword and the blitz them while activating. I am the storm that is approaching. I immediately teleport on the other side of the army while holding my sword vertically. I then sheath it while muttering, Deku, I am the storm that is approaching. I sheath Yamato. That's when blue streaks of light cut through all of the knights. That's when even the sky gets sliced and starts falling like shots of glass. System. Warning, I am the storm that is approaching has leveled up. Warning, you have exceeded the limit for I am the storm that is approaching. Skill level max attack. X 1000 will now be on a 60-second cooldown from when the battle begins. It can be used once a minute during a battle. Deku. Holy SHD, I did not know how the skill was so powerful. I slowly open the door to the front room and see a red knight. I see the name tag is Bright Red Knight Commander Igris, the BLD Red Deku, a knight that defends an empty throne. I sheath Yamato and pull out a dagger. My eyes lock with the system with a 60-second countdown beginning. We both immediately rush at each other. I just barely dodge a sword strike and land a blow with my dagger. My dagger bounces off his armor and my eyes widen. I immediately somersault away from him and remove my dagger and raise my fist. That's when the knight looks at me and stabs his sword into the ground. He removes his cape and drops the daggers on his side. Deku. And they said chivalry is dead. Me and Igris dash and start getting into hand. Two-hand combat. He is beating the CRP out of me. He grabs my life and slums me into the ground multiple times and then throws me onto the throne. He walks up to me and it's his soul flies through the air and lands in his hand. He immediately brings it down, slicing me in half. System Perseverance has been activated. Perseverance has been upgraded to level 2. You will now gain 0.4% Deku. Sorry about this, but you shall dart. I kick Igris in the nuts. I then kick him down the stairs, and I gain a quick draw stunts, and I disappear and focus all of my attack on him. I then appear directly behind him and sheath my sword. Deku. I am the storm that is approaching. All of the slicing happens, and Igris tries to block it, and is barely able to stand. I rugby tackle him, and then stop him in the eyes. Deku. Holy SHD, that was close. System Job change quest will begin in 30 seconds. I look at it, and my eyes go wide. I see my HP is at 958/2952. I unlock my cooldown. I am the storm that is approaching beyond 30 seconds cooldown. Deku. Well, my op skill's halfway ready, so I'll be able to get one off, but if it's enough like Igris, I am completely screwed. That's when 3 portals open and an army of knights appear. I have 15 seconds left before I could hit him with op skill. I head to the opposite side of the room, directly in front of the door, and rush at them. I continue to swipe and hack away at them, even going for me. Sometimes I realize that they continue to come. System fatigue 99%. Warning: fatigue hits 100%, user will pass out. My lights give out the new. I'm about to get my head chopped off. I see the timer, and I have survived 2 hours. System warning: daily quest hasn't been complete. Teleporting to penalty zone. I have a slight grin and close my eyes. I wake up in a desert. I turn around and see 2 giant centipedes. Deku. Full recovery now. I wonder if I can level up in here. I immediately rush. At all honestly, we cut to 3.5 hours later. I'm sitting on top of a dead scorpion while looking through the system shop. System level up. Deku. Full recovery. Purchase Night Slayer. I pull out a black and red dagger. System dagger info: Night Slayer does X2 damage to armed of permanence. Deku. 10 points in vitality. Summon familiar. System familiars cannot be summoned in a different plane of reality. Deku. For it is much. I slowly stand up as the timer hits 4 hours. I then stand directly in the center of all of the night. I then realize that there are 3 majors holding open the portals. I immediately rushed towards them, slicing 2 of them in half. And looking at the last one, all the knights surrounded in defense, and I get into a quick draw stunts. Deku. You all shall die. I disappear and teleport behind them all. Deku. I am the storm that is approach. All of them drop dead, and we've been there instantly. System level up. Job change quest complete. Race against the clock complete. Deku. I have 85 star points, 20 strength, 25 agility, 20 luck, 15 vitality, 5 intelligence. System job quest completed. New job necromancer. Yes, no. Deku. Yes. System warning plus upgrade imminent scanning parameters completed. Quest under the amounted time 80 points. Killed Igris the BLD Red 220 points. New class has been unlocked. Shadow Monarch. New skills and locked shadow extraction. Extract the shadows of your fallen opponent's shadow storage. Store your shadows in your own. My eyes widen as I look over the entire army of knights. System shadow extraction can be used on this target. I see the same message about all of the fallen knights. My eyes then see a system window. System choose a command phrase. Deku. Arise, all of the night, and the major shadows crawl out of their bodies and bow before me. System shadow storage 5770. It's Deku. Now what about you? I walk directly in front of Igris' body and hold my left hand out. Deku. Arise, shadows wrap around him, and then disperse system. 1/3 chance Deku. Should have known there was a chance it could fail. Igris arise. The shadows slowly wrap around him, but then dispersed. I put both from my hands on my head and let out a long annoyed sigh. I look at Igris again. Deku. Knight Commander, Igris the BLD, red, waiting for your king, are you? How can you be certain he'll make his return? Knight Commander Igris, you are a warrior. That means your purpose is to cut down your foes. Will you let your blade rust in this crumbling ruins, or will you raise above that fate and serve me instead of defending a throne of a foreign king? Pledge yourself to the man. Before you, Igris, the BLD red, arise. The shadows wrap around him again, but this time being absorbed into his armor, he slowly stun up, and his armor drops to the floor, revealing that's when he stands right in front of me and bowls. Deku. From now on you are simply Igris Deku. Nice to have you joining. Igris nods, and then looks at the empty throne. I walk to the throne and sit down. System. Hidden quest fills the throne of a fallen king. Reward the cardinal shield system. Shield info, you can feed it the shield raw materials to unlock different shields. Would you like to remove the weapon restrictions? Yes/no. Deku. Do it. A blue portal opens at the end of the room, and my shadows move to the left and right, and I walk down the middle. Igris walks right next to me. As I walk past the rows of shadows, they disappear one by one in my shadow. When we get to the exit of the portal, Igris bows and enters my shadow. I walk to Mei's house and feel something off. I slowly open the door to see Mom, Anti, Ryuko, Mei, SBO, Yui, and Kino. I'm about to say something, but my mom decides to say something. Mirko, so when are you going to tell me you have some kind of video game system, Yui? When you're angry, we're just surprised you never told us. Deku. Well, let me get to the point, and it's going to take a while, so get comfortable. I spend the next 3 hours explaining how I got the system and what I've learned about it, Mei. So what's the job you got, Deku? Igris, come forward. My class is called Shadow Monarch, thankfully a necromancer, but I can store what I resurrect, and they have 100% conscious. I got 57 others. Everybody is sit there slack jaw and wide-eyed. SBO. How strong is he? Deku? Fight only lasted a minute, and I almost died. Mirko. I'm sorry. What? Deku. Don't worry, I have a layer of immortality. Ryuko. I'm sorry, a layer of what? Deku. System reveal. When I say that, a bunch of system screens appear in front of me. Now, all of them can see the system. I pull up all of my skills, and they start looking at them. Deku. I have a gate key if you're all in. Everybody gets up and get ready to go out. We head to the front of the house, and I put the key in the keyhole. The portal opens, and we all enter, but the portals start glitching out once we enter, and turns right. We all blink and end up in a snow field. Everybody is looking around, very confused and nervous. I walk out the system, and my eyes narrow. System. Warning, you have entered your first red gate. Time. Move slower in a red gate. 1 day in the red gate is 1 hour in the real world. You are completely closed off from the outside until directly is complete. New quest, destroy the red gate. Reward 1 max level, or will allow you to max out 1 skill of your choice. Random. 5 new skills. Mirko. So where are we? Deku. It's like a regular dungeon. The only difference is we're completely cut off, and time flows differently. Plus, by the looks of it, not just a small cable like a forest or something like that. It's complete new world. I turn around to see a 10 low-ranking heroes, and my eyes slightly narrow. Mirko. Explain what you're doing here, Slugger. We were on a patrol in the neighborhood, and we saw a blue portal, so we went through. Ryuko. Well, in this place, there are monsters that will kill you, so just don't hesitate to kill them. All of the heroes are confused, but an arrow made of ice is flying straight towards them. I pull Yui into my chat and grab the arrow out of midair. We look towards one of the other pro heroes and see he's got an arrow right between the eyes. Everybody goes pale, but me and SBO keep calm. I see the elf that shot it runs his thumb across his neck. Slugger. Right, you cakes. Set up camp and stay out of trouble. Rest of us will take care of this problem. Mirko. Me and Ryuko. I stayed with the kids. Slugger locked at SBO with a creepy grain. Slugger. What about you, SBO? Sorry, but I don't leave my master's side. Slugger looks at me annoyed as SBO walks to my side. He shrugs, and all of low-ranking heroes follow him, and we decide to head through the forest. I see some bear claw masks. Keynote. Do you think it's a good idea to be here? I mean, it is bear territory. Deku. Yes, but that also means that the elves and come here, which means the only thing we have to worry about is wild animals, not intelligent beings. Ryuko. I mean, he's a point only animals go near my hero agency, not people with animal mutations, since they see it as my territory. Deku. The only thing that might kill us is this weather. I reach in my inventory and pull out a winter jacket for all of us, and chuck them one each. A bear rolls and jumps from behind a bush. I immediately scarf and punch the bear directly on the head, crushing its skull and leaving it face first. Deku. Well, this might help me in the long run, May. What are you thinking about doing? I look at the core of the bear, and I slip both hands into my pockets. Deku. Arise, my voice echoes through the entire forest, even though it was barely above a whisper. As shadow of the bear falls out of its body and looks at me. System. Shadow storage 59/70th. Deku. Well, I think I know what skill I'll be using it on. Do you mind if we use your body for food? I say we're looking at the bear shakes its head, and we set up camp. I then look at the trees to see more claw marks. Deku. Come forth. 2 shadow knights come out and stand right next to me. I stretch a little and get ready to walk towards the bears. Mirko, I'm guessing you're going to deal with the bears. I simply nod as my shadow extends, and the bear comes out, and I immediately hop on its back. SBO, if you don't mind, Emistar, I would like to come along. We walk through the forest and get in front of a cave where a few bears outside. When they see us, they get up and ready to attack. Deku. Come forward. My army of shadows comes out with Igris standing to my right. Slugger POV. 5 minutes earlier, me and the 8 heroes under me are walking through the open field looking for those, and we see a few elves within 2 minutes. All of the heroes that came with me were killed. I just managed to run away. Slugger. It's all his fault. I mean, he's the one who opened the portal. He's the one that led all of them to their deaths. Deku POV. The boss of the bears comes out of the cave. Deku. Igris go ahead. Igris nods and rushes at the bear, killing it almost instantly. SBO. And you said you defeated him. Deku. Just barely. He manages to survive my op skill, and I still have to go in for the finishing below. I walk to Igris and put my hand on his shoulder. I then look at the army of bears. I look at the leader of the bears and put my hand on its corpse. Deku. Rise. I resurrect the bear's leader, and 9 of the strongest bears open look at the bear leader. Deku. You are. Now, tank. I head back to the camp, but stop when I hear Slugger's voice. Slugger. I'm going to count to 3, and you better tell me where that Brad is who got all of my sidekicks killed. 1, 2, 3. Deku. For I slam his head directly into the ground, knocking him out. System. New skill unlocked. Here comes the sun. Cool. Down once a week. Deku. Ain't no way. Keynote. Izuku, what is it? Deku. System gave me a nuke. I turn around and look at what seems to be an empty space. Deku. There's no point trying hide when you have such a presence. That's when an army of ice elves come from invisible to see their numbers 200 strong. Everybody goes pale, but me. SBO is calm. Baruka. I am Baruka, leader of the ice elves. Now, if you don't mind, may you the fox and the rabbit please leave, and we can deal these humans in. What is he saying? Deku. You want me, Mum, and SBO to leave while he kills you, but I'm not going to let that happen. Baruka. You remember Bob, and he gestures to the elf next to him, and I realized it's the one that ran his thumb across his neck before I disappear and cut Bob's head off. Deku. And Baruka has a creepy grin. Deku. Come forward. My army of shadows appear, and then all about war begins. Me, Igris, and SBO. Free V warning. Baruka. That's when I get knocked back a bit, and I see Slugger screaming behind me and rushing at me with his bat. Glowing black. Igris gets defeated and returns to my shadow. Deku. SBO. Full back now. SBO. But Deku. That's an order. Baruka rashes at me at the same time as Slugger. Igris hits the ground, causing a huge cloud of dust. Igris stabs Slugger in the heart. Deku. Arise. The dust cloud disappears, and a giant armored shadow steps out. Baruka eyes go wide. We continue to rush at each other and attack. I then remember the 2 skills I've got. Deku. Iron. Igris restrain. They both are not at me, and Rugby tackle him, pinning him down. He then gets up, but 3 giant fireballs hit him, and he stands in the crater barely alive. I then stand right next to him. Deku. Here comes the sun. When those words leave my mouth, a giant manor circle appears in the sky. Everybody sees the manor circles. I then get in a quick draw stance. Deku. You shall die. I disappear right as a nuclear explosion goes off. I end up right behind his burnt body with him barely alive. Deku. I am the storm that is approaching. A million slices of air cuts through him, and he drops dead. I then look at the system. Destroy the red gate complete. I immediately pull out the orb and crush it in my hand. Deku. Shadow storage system. Shadow storage level max shadow storage 70/infinite. I check my HP and see I was dangerously close to using perseverance. I turn to the army of dead elves. Mirko. Hey kiddo, you good? Deku. Just close to using perseverance and now arise. The entire battlefield goes completely quiet, and then an army of shadows crawl out of the bodies. I turn to Baruka. Has failed. Deku. You're the leader of the ice. Elves now, instead of joining the abyss, you command my arm. You have elves and arise. A shadow wraps around his body, picking it up in a cocoon. Then it disperses. His body falls to the ground. As his shadow stands there, he walks to his body and picks up his daggers. He walks to me and bowels. Deku. You know I'm going to call you Sam. He looks at me confused, but then nods. System. Level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. Use shadow storage. 270 new quest. Defeat the ice dragon. Reward 1 max skill. Orb. Deku. 25 in intelligence. Hey, Sam, do you know where this ice dragon is? Some points at a very obvious cave in the mountains. Keynote. Where do you think you're going? Deku. I got one more thing to do before we leave, since this place would disappear within 2 days in here and 2 hours in the real world. Mirko. Well, hurry up, because we need to add to my girlfriend's gathering in 3 hours. Mirko. POV. Me and all of the girls, including SBO, are walking through the portal. I had to the bathroom to get ready, and I'm sat waiting in front of the portal for 2 hours. The portal closes right to behind Izuku. He comes out, and I looked at him, ready to scold him, since we're going to be late. Deku. POV. After I've head to the mounting, I immediately summon all of my shadows and just jump the dragon managers to hold them off for a minute, but then I immediately activate I am the storm that is approaching and immediately kill it. My eyes lock with what remains of the dragon and are resurrected first. Try system. New shadow ranked unlocked. Right hand commander. Shadow storage 271/infinite. Deku. Max level shadow extraction system. Shadow extraction level max. You can now extract shadows 100% of the time and will work on anything. Deku. You are now Valdora. I stand on Valdora's back as it flies to the gate. System. New quest. Technoblade never dies. Turn Technoblade into a shadow. Quest penalty. If not completed, heart will stop. My eyes slowly wide then, and I sit down with tears falling. I exit the red gate. Deku. I have to complete a quest. Mirko. Fine, but you better be there within 3 hours. I immediately jump straight in the air, and the Eldora appears beneath me, flying me towards the destination. Mirko. What got him shaking like that? I sat on the back of Eldora for around 4 hours. We finally get to the location that the system gave me. When I get there, I just see simple headstone with a crown and a sword for the red cape on it. System. This shadow could be extracted. Deku. Technoblade, you have been resting for too long. Now show the world the true meaning of fear and show them the meaning of Technoblade. Never dies. Arise. Shadows pork on the dirt and form a figure. The shadow slowly disperse from it to reveal a figure with color. System. New shadow rank legend. This shadow will not take up a shadow storage. Reward new outfit. Technoblade. So you have reached out to me from death. Why? Deku. I'll explain on the way, since I need to get to something on my way back. I explain everything about the system to Technoblade. Halfway back, I realized I resurrected the Technoblade from the Minecraft world, or at that personality. He has no recursion of being human, and the last thing he remembers was taking a break in one of the Minecraft books realms. Mirko. POV. I'm sat under a gazebo with Fuyumi and having a casual chat with her mom, Ray. So, I heard for Fuyumi, you have a kid. Mirko. He's not related to me by BLD, but I took him in when he was 6, and since then he's kind. I've just been stuck with me, Ray. It's good to have people like you who don't care about quirk status. Mirko. I'm sorry, what? Fuyumi. I had the quirkless somewhat of a cousin, and his parents kicked him out. We have been able to find him, and we don't even think he's still alive. Mirko. So that why you're glaring down these green-head girls and the skeleton blonde endeavor? Yes, so how old is your kid? Mirko. 14. Mitsuki. And his quirk? Mirko. Well, believe it or not, he was actually quirkless till recently. And his quirk is kind of hard to explain since it's strong, but at the same time, it's also very weak without the great motivation. Endeavor. I can't wait for him to get here. Maybe we could spare. As Endeavor says that a huge black shadow envelopes the area, and a figure jumps from the shadow disappears, and a huge dust cloud appears where it lands. Deku POV. I jump down from Eldora and create a dust cloud. When I land, my eyes scan over everybody. I walk out of the dust cloud wearing a black jacket with a red t-shirt and red combat boots. My hair is spiky and black. Everybody is looking at me surprised. Mirko, speak of the devil, and he shall appear. Ray, that's your boy. Why does he look like carbon copy of Hisashi Midoriya? I walk directly in front of them, my eyes slowly going wide. Deku, Anti-Mitsuki, and Aunt Ray. Wait, that missed me. I look between Mom and Fuyumi, and then get rugby tackled by Katsumi and Shoko. All Might, Inko, and Izumi look at me pale. I stand up and pick both girls that jump on me by the back of the t-shirts. Mitsuki, I have so many questions, but the main one being, what happened to your green hair, Deku? Well, it was always cream with black highlights, but it kind of went the opposite for a bit. Then, well, now this system. New quest. Might kick All Might, but punishment return to the Yagi's reward remove daily quest, and 8-4 recoveries must wait till Yagi tries to take you back. I walk to my mom and sit next to her. I chat with everybody for around 40 minutes, but that's when Inko decides to try her luck and walks up to us. Inko, I want my son Deku. No offense, they stopped being your kid today. You locked me out, Inko. I hate BRTHU Mirko. We went back to your place and told you he was still kicking, but yet you said, and I quote, I don't care what happens at useless Bora. He was supposed give us an easy life when we retire. All Might. If that's the case, I challenge you, and if I win, we get ass son back. All Might buffs up, and I see Mom go slightly pale and nervous. I casually roll my eyes and stand up. Deku, I will face you instead. Everybody looks at me surprised, but the Yagis have a smirk, since if their kid isn't powerful, they could put him in an arranged marriage for powerful granted kids. Mirko whispers to me, Mirko, I know you're strong, but you really think you could beat All Might? Deku, it's a quest, and beside, during this quest, all my attacks and non-lethal, but if still hurt like a basic attack. Everybody quiz some room as I walk to the center in front of All Might. All Might, my boy, I want you much, but I'll make sure I slap some sense into you. I just look at him. Without saying, think he gets ready a Detroit smash, and it connects with my face. I just look at him. Deku. Hey, Mom, Mirko. Yet, Deku. We want to know what my quest was. Well, here is Technoblade come forward. My shadow slowly extends, and Technoblade stands out of it. He then walks directly in front of All Might and hit him with the back of his axe. Everybody is surprised the fact that I summoned a person out of my shadow. Ray, you said he had a difficult quirk, Mirko. Well, its work is multi-purpose, and we don't even know the limits yet since he's only had it just over a month. I'm casually sidestepping all of All Might's attacks. All Might punches Technoblade, reducing him back to my shadow. All Might, are you going to keep dodging, or you can fight me? Deku, you think I only got one shadow? I start laughing like a psycho. Mirko, I feel bad for All Might Endeavor. Why do you? My shadow extends, and 272 shadows come out of mine, and they all drop their weapons. They all rush at him. I'm just jump on top of him and stop beating him up. I walk to everybody else. Endeavor, you just summon an army of shadows to jump him. Deku, don't worry, they won't kill him. System. Quest complete. New reward key to Shadow Garden, a dungeon outside of reality that will has a red gate time flow. Complete it before the event. Deku POV, it's been 2 days since the family reunion. Me and my army currently in the Shadow Garden dungeon. I'm on the currently looking for the first floor boss. I hear a howl and turn around to see a black hair wolf girl wearing all black with gold trims. She looks at me while walking her tail, and we immediately get into a fight. Delta, finish your pretty strong system. Shadow, step activated, move 2 meters forward in a millisecond. She goes to swipe me, but I disappear and slice her head off. I looked her body and turn to my shadows, which are fighting over girls wearing a full black outfit with gold highlights and hoods. I wait for them all to clear it, and then look at the bodies. Deku. So this is what the first 4 Shadow Garden could do. Arise. 30 of the people dressed in black arise, and Delta arises, but looks like how she was before. The only difference is her outfit is letting off small bits of smoke. Delta thinks you're pretty strong. System. New quest. The 7 Shadow Garden has no leader. Defeat Alpha on the 100th floor and become the new Shadow. Deku. So you're Delta, do you? Have to admit, if I would have dragged on the fight, you would have beat me. Delta, I'm guessing boss wants to take over Shadow Garden now. Over the next 2 weeks, I enter and exit Shadow Garden. When I get the final floor, I have 6 of the 7 shadows. I enter the 100th floor with over 1,000 shadows. As soon as I walk to the boss room, I see an entire army of hooded figures and a blonde-head elf lady wearing a skin-tight black bodysuit with gold trims. Alpha, so you're the one who's been climbing Shadow Garden and eliminating all of us. May I know your reason, Deku? Simple, I am Shadow. She looks at me annoyed and rushes at me. I immediately use Shadow Step, disappearing right behind us, and taking a swing. She dodges. Alpha, so you want to take Lord Shadow's place? Let's just hope you don't die. Alpha walks to be center and holds her blade up. Alpha and all the shadows. We are Shadow Garden. We lurk in the shadows and hunt the shadows. Deku. I am a shadow monarch, the one who commands death. Come forward. My entire army, including the 7 shadows, rush at the mall. It's an absolute BLD bath with me under 7 shadows. Igris and Espio helping me take down Alpha. Alpha lands a fatal hit, almost killing me, but perseverance kicks in, and they slice her. She jumps back with her suit covering the wound. Alpha, you're more resilient than I thought. You have defeated most of Shadow Garden with only me and what's up here remaining, but it looks like you would only be soon. Deku, as long as I'm kicking, my army will continue to come back. We immediately rush each other with my MP running out. I see there's only 5 shadows and Alpha remaining. I get in a quick draw stance. Deku, sorry about this, but you shall die. Before she could say, you think I disappear and end up right behind her. Deku, I am the storm that is approaching. System quest complete. Reward new title Shadow. When in a dark environment, HP will double, MP will triple. New outfit unlock Shadow's robes when wearing them. In a dark environment will negate 99% of damage. Health regen 5% per second. Mana weaken 5% per second. When in a bright environment, stats will be halved. I equip the outfit. It is a black bodysuit with a black and gold trench coat with the ends looking like they've been burnt off. The gloves and boots have gold highlights and purple insides. Deku, Shadow Garden heat. Lord Shadow's words and arise. I turn around to see an entire army of Shadow Garden bowing directly in front of me. My army slowly comes out of my shadow and merges with them from a distance. It looks like a sea of darkness. The each shadows step forward. Alpha, Shadow Garden is at your command. Lord Shadow. System Shadow Storage 3498/Infinite. Deku, okay, one thing I don't get is why the hell is the system so eager or make me op? I mean, I'm not complaining, but at the same time, it's kind of awkward. System Cardinal Shield has been equipped. Deku, why the hell is this filming now? I didn't quit it. I ignore it and walk to the exit. When they exit, I feel a strange sensation, but I ignore it. System new skill unlock Fireball. Deku, what the? I got the ultimate D and D move for doing nothing. Yeah, well, one thing I do know for sure, the fact that I couldn't level up there and got some good stuff after makes sense. System warning, Cardinal Shield has a curse, will not allow you to use any other weapon. Remove the curse. Yes/no. Deku, yes. System cores cannot be removed. Deku, edit weapon. I remember this is one of the skills I got from beating all my. I can edit the rocks of a weapon and armor and change one of its abilities. I remove the curse and change it to a watch. The shield glitches out and turns back into a smaller shield that's rest on the back of my palm. Deku, why is this freaking out now? Library. I head to the library and meet up with Yui. We both enter to have a look at some new books that came in, and my eyes lock with a new book. I grab it and check it over. I see the title is The 4 Cardinal Heroes. I get about look at the book and see it's a really old book with a dark right leather case. I open it and start reading it. I notice that the 4 cardinal weapons are a spear, sword, bow, and shield. I notice the shield looks a lot like mine. So what are you looking at? Deku, just this book I found. It looks like my shield. Yui, I'm going to check out the horror section. I know, and sit down and start reading the book. That's when I decide to go out for a little fresh air. I then feel time go completely still. I slowly turn to my left and come face to face with the god of Ice Sky. Deku, he really about to rock my SHD. I look around and see 3 others. Each one carried a weapon, a spear, a sword, and a bow. Respectively, I had my shield on my arm. In front of them stood a group of men. One said, Summoner 1. It worked, we were saved. He then turned his attention and words to us. Summoner 1. Great heroes, we have summoned you for a great purpose. This world is speeding toward disaster. Please speak to the king. He can explain it better to you. The one carrying the spear, who also appear to be the oldest, Motoyasu, will be speaking to the king. All right, if you want our help, we have a few demands that you have to meet. If you don't, you may just find us your enemies instead. The men in front of us started to panic. The other two, the ones holding the sword in the bow, also spoke. It's Suki. Yes, you brought us here without our consent. If you can't or won't compensate us for ripping us out of our old lives, then we might have a problem, Run. I agree. I think to myself, what a jerks we just got here. And before they even hear out the situation, they're making demands if this world is speeding towards disaster. I can't even count on that yet, system. Quirk added one for all, limit 50%. One for all is a physical enhancement quirk. We'll use stamina instead of MP and has multiple quirks in it. You must wait to unlock the past uses quirks. We was taken to meet the king once in the throne room. The king, an elderly-looking man with white hair and a long white beard. King, welcome to the kingdom of Melramerk. Please introduce yourself. Then we can get started. Motoyasu Kitmura, aged 21, the one with the spirit. Introduced. Run. Rin Amaki, aged 18, said the one with the sword. Next was the one with the bow. It's Suki Kawasumi, age 16. Without waiting for me to introduce myself, the king continued before he could get too far. Deku, you skipped me. I'm Izuku Usagiyama, and I'm 14, making me the youngest. Motoyasu. Dude, you can't interrupt the king like that. Before an argument could start, not. That is going to start one in the first place. The king cleared his throat. King, yes, well, the reason we have summon you is because our world faces grave danger. It is foretold that waves of calamity would ravage our lands, and that we would need to summon the 4 cardinal heroes to protect us. The first wave already came, and when we thought we could protect ourselves without you, we were wrong. So now we have summoned you. The throne will provide payment and call on adventurers to aid you on your journey. Will you protect our land? Ignore me for the most part, and one by one the other. And I guess those rewards are good enough for me. I'll help you guys out. King's advisor. If you would all look in the bottom right corner of your vision, focus on the icon that is shown there. Each one did. That's when the shield system glitches out and gets replaced with my system, and a screen open. The other 3 heroes all said system. Shield curse 100% completion. Shield can be removed and put in the infantry. When shield is in the infantry, all shields based on level will be automatically added. Weapon restrictions have been removed. Heroes. I'm level 1, me 2, and me Deku. I'm level 42. Before anyone could question his higher level, the advisor. This is called status magic, special magic given to the chosen heroes to help them get stronger on their journeys. Motoyasu is smirking confidently. Motoyasu. Well, then I guess we go kill some monsters and then party up to take on the waves together. The advisor. I must apologize, but the 4 cardinal here is must work alone. The legendary weapons by nature repel one another, so you must form separate parties and gains and power up your weapons separately. Run. They aren't already maxed out, and what's stopping us from just using other weapons until these are strong enough? The advisor. You are now the holders of these legendary weapons. They appeared on your person when you came here. You cannot use any other weapon of any other kind. You must use these at all times. The other 3 heroes were all still confident. It's Suki. This won't be so hard. Just leave everything to us, King. Very well, we have chambers set up for you for tonight. The king pointed to one of the servants. King, show them the way, servants. Yes, your majesty, please follow me here, she said on the way to their rooms for the night. Deku noted this air is like a red gate, more cleaner, as much warmer and more humid than where I was before, at least when not at the beach. One of the others. It's Suki. Yes, seems Mediterranean to me. Have you never traveled outside of Japan? Deku. Yes, and no, it's just me and my mom, but I have been outside of the city on a few occasions. Motoyasu. Oh really, what do you mean by that? Deku. We can talk when we get to the room. When we get to the room, we talk for hours about our home Japans. I figure out I'm from a possible future of theirs. We continue to talk about our worlds, but that's when Run. I heard you mention something about a red gate and why you were so high level. Deku. Well, it's complicated, but just put it simply, it's like a video game's dungeon and the level since I've been heading in and out of them now and again. I wait for the ever-free to fall asleep. I then climb out the window and put on my shadow robes. Deku, Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Epsilon, Zeta, and Eta come forward. My shadow extends and spreads out 7 ways. Alpha. Lord Shadow, you called Deku. Something isn't right with this kingdom. Take the 7 shadows, 200 of Shadow Garden, and gather as much information as you could. Delta. Delta wants to stay with Boss Alpha. You hurt the boss, Deku. No, Delta can stay with me. I'm not sure when I'm going to need her, but it's better to have at least one of you on. Stand by, Alpha. Your wishes are command. That's when my shadow extends, and 200 members of Shadow Garden appear, and 6 of the 7 shadows jump off the next day. Quickly, everyone met back in the throne room where the king and a large group of adventurers were waiting. King, good morning, brave heroes. I have sent out a call and summoned the greatest heroes in the land. These brave souls will join you in fighting the waves. Looking over the group, I took note of everyone. There are a lot of them. Motoyasu. Oh, some of them are pretty hot too, King. You may choose who you wish to work with now. The group of adventurers moved forwards and ended up with 5. Itsuki ended up with 3, and Motoyasu ended up with 4. Deku. I do it solo. One of the king's advisors stepped up and whispered something in the king's ear. The king announced, King, it seems that a rumor has spread around the city that you know very little about this world. The heroes were supposed to be summoned with an understanding of our world and knowing what to do, but people got word you not knowing and therefore distress you. Motoyasu. Bummer, I guess someone listened in on our conversation last night at Suki. That would seem to be the case at Deku. When you have 5, can't 1 or 2 members of your party join me? You seem like the kind of person to work alone anyways. Written Rin. It's true, I prefer to work alone. He turned to his party. Anyone doesn't pull their own weight, and they get left behind at Suki. While it would be the most fair to split them up to a person that may just cause more problems, we don't want to force them to work with someone they don't want to. I could see the logic in that, but still didn't want to work alone. Looking over his group of all girls, Motoyasu. Well, sucks to be you, man. So what can I do if my entire group is full of cute girls and you're all alone? You see really hung up about someone else's group. Malty. Sir Hero, I will join you. I looked over to the one who spoke. It was a girl about as tallest Motoyasu, meaning a bit shorter than my, with red hair and a kind smile, but there was something about it that struck as you who was on. He brushed off that feeling. Deku. Okay, King. Would anyone else wish to join the Shield Heroes party? Nobody spoke up. King, very well. You will all be paid a starting amount for buying necessary equipment. Just this, once the Shield here will receive more money to make up for his small party. A group of people all carrying bags of coins approached the hero's advisor. That Shield hero will receive 800 silver. The other 3 heroes will receive 600. Please take it and go buy any gear you need, then start on your adventures. That is all. I take my bag of silver and put it in my pocket. I walk out of the castle with both hands in my pocket. Malty, I know a good weapon blacksmith if you want to head there. Deku. We'll check this shop out, but you're paying for your own stuff. Malty looks at me annoyed, and my perception picks it up. I cut the bag and pass her 200 silver. Malty, what is this for? Deku? It doesn't look like you were expecting the paper anything, so that's 200 silver. We walk to the shop, and I have a look around. That's when she noticed I don't have the shield on my arm. We enter the shop, and I look around to see free. That would be around C rank, and the rest are below heart. Welcome to my shop. I'm guessing you're one of the cardinal heroes. Deku. Well, I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but your weapons are kind of low-level heart. Well, this is stuff made for beginners, but I see you have a good eye. So can you show me what a true weapon looks like? I reach into my system and pull out the katanas and both of their sheets linked by a small piece of fabric. I put it directly in front of him, and Malty eyes go wide. He pulls out a magnifying glass and checks it over. He sees it's worth way more than any item he has in this shop. Malty, where the hell did you get that weapon, Erhard? How much do you want for it? Deku, how much are they worth, Erhard? Well, I can't sell naturally that expensive, but I'll take it to an auction for you and give you the price 60% of what I make from a. Deku. Sure, I'll be staying in the town for 2 days, and if you don't mind, set this girl, put some decent. I head outside and get approached by a random girl. I realized it's Alpha. The king is acting ruler. The queen is currently at a conference about this situation. She has a group underneath her corpus shadows, and it turns out the king has some beef against the old shield hero, Deku. So that's why he was ignoring me. Continue to gather more info, Alpha. The king is going to try something tonight, so just get ready for something to happen tomorrow. In a blink of an eye, she disappears. I wait 5 minutes, and Malty comes out wearing basic armor, and I pass her basic dagger for my system. She's never seen such high-rank items, and she's getting kind of scared. Malty, I don't need this. It's way too expensive. Deku. It's D rank. Dagger. The walking 2 of the fields where monsters are, and I explained to her about the letter ranking with SSS being the highest in the weapon. Deku. The one I gave a blacksmith was a C rank katanas, but they only work if they're together. Malty. How come you can hold a weapon? Deku. I'm level 42, which means the weapon restrictions don't apply to me. She looks at me confused, and I pull out Venom's dagger. A balloon rushes out of the grass, and I slice it in half. Deku, besides the weapon restriction, is only 4 weapons, and since the shield is a defense that could be paired with any weapons, the weapon restriction doesn't apply. Use what's left to get a room in. I head to a dangerous area where there's a bunch of high-ranking adventurers went missing. I just summoned 2 of my Shadow Knights, and they rushing 20 minutes later, they both walk out. Without even a scratch, I see completing that didn't even give the XP of a low-ranking goblin Deku. So the XP in this place is minus 90%. I mean, that makes sense why my system was making me overpowered, but could have known I was coming here, at least skills still work the same. It is very late, and I'm walking to do a cheap, and I quickly just order a basic room the next morning. I woke to my door being broke down by guards. They grabbed my arms and forced me to my feet. Hideko, what's going on? What did I do, guard 1? Izuku Usagiyama, the shield hero, you are under arrest for attempted. Do not resist, or we will use force to restrain you. And without another word, I was dragged back to the castle there. I was forced to my knees in front of the king, the other 3 heroes, and their parties were also there. King Izuku, the shield hero, you were charged with attempted against my daughter Melty. To these charges, the king asked his daughter. My former party member stood behind Motoyasu smugly. When people turned to her, she played the victim. Multi. It was horrible. He threw me into his room and pinned me against his bed. I managed to get away from him, but I didn't sleep all night. I didn't do it, Deku. Okay, do you have that proves this was me, the same guard who had first grabbed me? Stepped forward holding a purple lingerie guard. We found this string across the bed. Malty acted all embarrassed and hid her face in a Moyos armor. King, if you weren't a hero, I would cut you down where you stand, clearing at everyone in front of him. I was tired of always being taken advantage of first in my own world. I was treated like garbage, constantly bullied and abused by my peers and teachers. Now in this world, I was being accused of a crime that I didn't. He saw me standing behind Motoyasu, giving me one last smile, and realized why her smile always seemed off-putting to me. I had worn a fake smile for over a decade. The real emotions behind main smile was different, but I knew how to pick out a fake smile. When I saw one, I had been blinded by her kind attitude and her helpfulness. King, if you were not one of the 4 heroes, I would have you executed for this. Unfortunately, we need all 4 heroes to fight back the ways, and unless all 4 of you were to fall in battle, we would be unable to replace you. But mark my words, shield here. Should these 3 real heroes meet their ends, and you survive, I will kill you myself, and summon a new batch of heroes. You may leave, but you're to never show your face in this castle again, unless it is beneficial event. I stood and took a step forward. Instantly guards surged forwards and try to hold me back with the handles of their spears, as if you grabbed them. Deku, mark my words, King, you were the one who summoned. You were the one accusing me of a crime I didn't commit. It makes me wonder if this country is even worth saving. You say you need all 4 heroes to save this world. Then don't make threats you can't reasonably back up without destroying your world. From the information I've gathered, each wave is stronger than the last. If we fall even on this wave, your new heroes wouldn't have enough time to gain enough strength to combat them. I'll fight your battles, and after I know this world is safe, I'm leaving back to my own. You can count on that, slamming his fist against his throne. King, you dare threaten me in my own throne room. The guard tried to force me back, but in retaliation, I grabbed both of the spears in front of me and forced them away, knocking their holders to the ground. Deku, you are the one who made the first threat by just return the favor. You said you would kill me yourself. You couldn't even accomplish that now. But fine, you say I'm never to show my face around here again. Good, I never want to come back. This world may still deserve to be safe, but I know now that you do not. And if you want to frighten me again, make sure you have the power to back it up. Igris, I need an exit. My shadow extends as Igris slowly rises out to my shadow. With a sword bigger than any of the knights, he's almost twice the size as any other Night King. What the hell is that thing? Deku, system status public. All 3 of the other heroes' legs start to shake, and they end up on their knees. Everybody is confused. Igris walks to the wall facing to the rest of the capital. He swings his sword, and a huge explosion goes, destroying the entire wall. I turn my head towards the king as Igris enters my shadow. Deku, I don't want anything to do with you, acting ruler. I immediately jump out of the huge hole in the building. One of the guards rush to the window and see me land on my feet gracefully without even cracking the concrete. I then walk into the third-person POV throne room. King, heroes, what was that, Ren? You just challenged a level 42 against us who are barely level 5 multi. He's removed his weapon restriction. Everybody quickly looks at her and goes pale Motoyasu. I'm sorry, we're going up against a level 42 who can use any weapons, and all we have are these. Multi pulls out the dagger that Deku gave her, and when the king sees it, please confused, but he gets one of the royal blacksmiths to take a look at it. Royal blacksmith. This is an SSS grade weapon Melty. That weapon is D rank according to him. The king is still freaking out the fact that he knows he's only the acting rule Deku POV. I'm walking into what the church, one of the nuns try to stop me. I just walk right past them. Holy night. You are not allowed in this area, you devil of the shield. I walk right past him, and Delta hops out of my shadow and kicks in it through the front door. I walk to the dragon hourglass and pull out the shield. A blue light hits my shield system. 19:08:02:45:09 till next wave. I walk back through with the church and walk out the front door. I spend the next few hours getting acquainted with my surroundings. It's late at night, and I'm walking. I turn around and see 8 guys. Deku, what do you want, guy 1? We want to join your party, Deku. You'll be paid performance-wise, guy 2. I'm sorry, what does that mean, Deku? It means you'll be paid based on performance. If you do well, you get paid. We will pulley you don't. All of them pull out a weapon, guy 1. How about just hand over your money and we won't tell? The guards, you were in the capital, Deku. We could have saved some precious time if you just left with that. I pull out my black rose sword and slice the heads off in one clean motion, Deku. That's enough of my emotions gone. It looks like the stronger I get, the last human I become. SLV trader. That's an interesting perspective. I turn around looking annoyed. Deku, what do you want, SLV trader? I heard you need some party members, and I have just the thing, Deku. If you're going to recommend me adventurers, don't, brother SLV trader. Actually, I have something even better. What I'm offering you is much better than a party member if you would follow me. Football pins in my pockets and walk with him. We enter a giant tent where I hear a bunch of noises coming from we both into the tent, and I see a bunch of creaks inside of Cage's system. New quest, get a SLV. The SLV trader has off the tube a new party member purchase one of his sleeves for a low price reward x 10 XP. Deku. SLV trader. I'm guessing it's fully legal here. SLV trader, of course, is a rice. I'd be out of business. We walk around the tent looking at all of them. He explains the difference between humans and demi-humans. I get annoyed out this, since in this world my mom will be part as a Danny human. We continue to walk around, but then I hear coughing next to me. I look at the cage and see a sick Tanuki being locked after by SBO. SLV trader. You have a good, I'm Mr. Hero. We just got that fox girl in a little while ago. Deku. Yo, SBO. SLV trader. So you know this girl? I manifest mine in SBO soul contract, and he looks at me, SLV trader. Well, I can't legally sew her, but I'm running the business here. I can't just give her away, Deku. How about this? I'll take this Tanuki girl, and you throw in SBO, SLV trader. Well, I won't be losing out much since she's on death's stall, but sure, Deku 3 silvers since she's on death's door. He looks at me, and he's about to haggle for a larger price, but he realizes I'm not going to budge, SLV trader. Well, I mean, I could, but it's also going to cost you for the SLV mark. I look at my system and opens the shop. I then see a creative SLV colors. I read the item description system. Item description of SLV colors, a color that will open my shape for its attend date, wherever, when put on, or automatically lock around its neck, cannot be removed unless by its MS to R for the colors MS to R. One proper BLD must be put the master's BLD in the charm on the center. Slaves will not be able to disobey all the mild shock of powerful electricity that is normally full. Deku. Sure, but I got something even better than something that could be removed. He opens the cage, and I see the Tanuki girl slightly shaking. When she looks at me, we'll head to a small attempt in the center. I see a bunch of stuff, and then he looks at me expectantly. I roll my eyes and purchase the crate of SLV colors. I then double-check the item description, and I see something that intrigues me, but I decide to keep it quiet for the minute. He then looks at them, checking them over when he sees the fact that they're top quality. Deku, how much for the lot, SLV? Trader, I could give you 200 gold for the whole lot, but that's as high as I can go. Deku, whatever, sleeve trader. So how do these work exactly? I pull one out of the box and slice my finger. I then put my thumb on the gem, and the gem changes from black to red. I then put it around the Tanuki girl's neck, and a soft glow happens as it resizes. She looks at me and is slightly scared, but I see SBO comforting her. Deku, it's that simple, and not just that it's not big, bulky, or even heavy. They would even notice it's there, and It also has a disguise function. I snap my fingers, and it changes from and slick black choker with golden Calvins, and the black gem in the center changes to a appealing necklace, keeping the same patterns as SLV Trader. Suicide disguise function, you have 90% off your next free purchases with me. That's my final offer, Deku. Whatever, I see the Tanuki girl almost falling asleep, so I pick her up on my back and carry her out with SBO, clearing dangerously at the SLV Trader. Deku, leave it, we might need him in the future. We walk out and head to the outskirts of the city. All three of us are sat around a campfire. Deku, what's your name? She looks up at me slightly scared but answers, Raphtalia. I'm Raphtalia Deku. Izuku Usagiyama. And you know my familiar SBO. Shiva members hearing about him and how he's nice, sweet, and very caring, but this guy looks the complete opposite. SBO. MSTR, why do I send something off with you, Deku? Turns out the stronger I get, the last human I become. System send friend request Raphtalia. She's confused, but then a system window appears in front of her. System, you haven't sent a friend request except yes/no Raphtalia. Yes, the system integrates itself with her, and if she feels a whole lot of different things, that's when Fiend notices the name tag above my head is almost black. Deku. If it's white, that means it's easy to be between yellow, and orange means it's around the same strength as you. Red means it's way stronger than you, Raphtalia, and black. I look at her and shrug. Delta hops out of my shadow and starts sniffing her. Raphtalia, where did you come from, Deku? That's Delta, a member of Shadow Garden, and one of my shadows. That's when Raphtalia sees something appear in front of her and notices it's the daily quest. Deku, we have like 3 hours till midnight, so we'll put that off till tomorrow. I said, notice the system gave me my old daily quest back, and I just smiled and lay my head on SBO lap. I pull out the cardinal shield and put a SLV color in on the glitches out for a second and the changes shape, and then I put it back in my inventory. Raphtalia, so why did you give me one of these expensive colors when you put your shoes to see like that you can nails, Deku? First stop, and no calling me MSTR, it's just Izuku's second appealing level. So you won't see the shop, but nothing only cost me 1 gold, and it cost me 50 gold for the crate. So if anything, I just worked him off, and getting gold is easy. I just gotta kill 50 monsters. Every monster drops somewhere between 1 gold to 100. Based on how strong they are you then explain everything I know about the system too, huh? And when at 1 minute to midnight, I pick her up and set her on my lap, or petting her head. Raphtalia, why are you doing this? That's when everything goes dark around us, and we wake up inside of the desert. Raphtalia is confused, but then it turns around and sees hundreds of giant centipedes. Deku, we have to survive in here for 4 hours, and we can run away until the time runs out. We could fight back. I pull out Yamato and have a slight smile. Deku, SBO weekend so Raphtalia can kill him. I pass her my venom dagger under slowly walk towards the army of centipedes. System quest defeat 100,000 centipedes before heading back. Raphtalia looks at her system window. System quest defeat 20 centipedes before heading back. Reward skill master's protection. Deku, I wouldn't be able to complete this question normally, but come forward. My shadow extends massively as my entire army comes out and ready to fight. Raphtalia is good day, and we rush at the army of centipedes while SBO is weakening them for Raphtalia to land the finishing blow. She was hesitant at first, but she's getting more confident as she's finishing off some centipedes when she mine just to finish her quest. Few lines on her, but then watches me and my entire army just decimate all of them. I call my shadows back as I get into a quick draw stance. Deku, Raphtalia, don't blink or you might miss. You shall die. I disappear and end up right behind most of the centerpiece. Deku, I am the storm that is approaching. All of the centipedes get sliced into millions of pieces and drop dead. My system bugs out again, and the shield ends up on my arm. I check the drops and see one of them drop the chainsaw. I grab the chainsaw and realize we have no fuel for it, but then my eyes locked in my shield and I ran it into my shield. System level up, 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 level up. You have reached level 50. New shield unlock. Chainsaw shield. At first it looked like a regular shield, but then I know it's the rip called, and when I pull it, the blade come out from around the shield and start spinning. We wait till the end of the we are sat exactly where we were. Raphtalia, hold on you the shield, hero. Deku, I was meant to be, but I kind of ignore using the shield and favor the rest of my weapons. Raphtalia, I see. Deku, we'll be heading to Loot Village tomorrow. I heard this in good resources in a mineshaft. Before we go to bed, what level are you, Raftalia? For why do you ask, Deku? Put the start points and the stats you most need. I pick her up and put her on my knee while having the system window open in front of us, Deku. Since I'm practically running an assassin build, I put most of my point into agility and strength, but I also have to put some intelligence for my mana reserve, so something like this: 5 strength, 5 agility, 5 luck, 10 vitality, 5 perception, 10 intelligence. Little wave of glitch rushes down the system window, and the stats change. Raftalia, 10 agility, 5 strength, 5 vitality. The same thing happens on her system screen, and I pat her head. Deku, so you going for some kind of assassin or samurai? She sits on my lap and nods a little nervously. Deku, don't even worry about the SLV color. It won't even work for you, since the system negates all negative effects. We wait till the sun starts to rise, and she gets used to just talking casual with me, and not being SLV. We immediately together and start walking toward the village. I meet with one of the local miners who explain how there's a monster in a mine shaft, so they can't get any resources, but they would pay us to take care of it. I agree to that, and explain the situation to Raftalia and SBO. We enter the mine shaft, and the system keeps clearing a negative status effect. Deku, I'm guessing the monster that's down here has some kind of negative effect on its surroundings. We continue to walk down the place for around 20 minutes. We end up in a large room where some purple fog is covering it. We all ain't faced by it, but I see SBO covering her mouth, trying not to breathe it in. Deku, SBO, leave this to me, and Raftalia cosign. Like us, you're not protected by the system. She nods and exits. We continue to walk through the fog, and I feel something shadows. I decide to see how good Raftalia has gotten, so I don't mention anything. That's when she turns around and comes face to face with a giant Cerberus. At first I thought it was a regular one, but then I see its bones some more shallow, and its face is more decayed. Deku, Raftalia, take care of this. System appear in front of her with a mission system. Defeat the Cerberus, reward 10 levels, and job change quest. She stands up on shaky legs and points the dagger towards 8. Before she could even say anything, she rushes at it, just barely dodging its attacks and chipping away at it. I taught her my venom dagger, and she grabs it. She then stabbed it directly in one of his eyes, and the venom makes its way to the brain, killing it. But the other 2 heads get up and rolls. I continue to watch her for 20 minutes, chipping away at it, and she finally finishes. She's breathing heavy and is sitting on top of its body. Deku, so did it feel good? She stumbles off and nods. That's when I hold my hand out towards a corpse. Deku, you are a gatekeeper. You shouldn't be playing Dead Arise. That's when its shadow wraps around its body and then explode to a force of power. That's when it walks towards me and enters my shadow. Deku, that's how I get my shadows. So you have a job change quest. We'll check that out after the wave, so you can get stronger. Narrator POV. It's been 10 days since Deku and Raftalia have been training and heading to the penalty zone, since it gives the most XP. Raftalia looks like she's in her 30s, and she's only level 20 cardio. Deku series, there is 8-day tail the wave SBO. So MSTR, what now? Deku, we don't need weapons or armor because of the system, and I'm level 56, and I haven't used any of my stat points yet. Love, if I ever need a full regen, I would use for recovery, or put a stat point into a star at the walking down the back alleys. And Deku hears a familiar voice. He turns around and comes face to face with the sleeve trader, SLV trader. Mr. Shield Hero, it's been a little while since you've came to the capital. May I know the purpose of you visit Raftalia? Waves in just overall week, so we're here to get some supplies. Deku, what you really want, SLV trader? I guess I'm still transparent, as always with you. Let's go to the tents, so we can talk more private. We cut to the small town inside. The SLV trader is sat in front of Deku while Deku had both of his legs crossed. The SLV trader pulls out a huge sack of gold. Raftalia, eyes go wide, and Deku raises an eyebrow. Deku, and this is for SLV trader. Well, I've sold your product to other SLV traders across the country, and your SLV colleges are a huge success in the business. And that is 75,000 gold coins. You might even be putting the seals out of business, since they make the people do whatever without the pain. Deku, if my math is correct, you sold each L1 for 1,000 gold. SLV trader, of course not. I sold it for 2,000, and they sold almost instantly. SBO, well, MSTR, I'm not sure if I should be surprised or concerned about how fast they sold. SLV trader, if you don't mind, I would like to take 2 more crate. I will pay extra. Deku, open the system shop, and pulls out 2 more crates. Deku, Listen, this will be the last crates I'll be giving you since they're a pain to make. Raphtalia raises an eyebrow at this and remembered he just purchased them from the shop and they cast 5 gold for the crate SLV trader. I understand, Mr. Hero. So how about you have a look at my variety and I'll give you 2 slaves on the house Deku. I want files on any slaves that might benefit me, all the strength, weaknesses, and species buffs. By tomorrow, then the crate through yours Deku. Gets up and heads out the tent, both of the girls following him, walking down the street. SBO. Mestar, why did you want 2 more slaves, Deku? Like I said, just leave trader only to that would benefit us. And cost if I don't, somebody else will, and who knows what will happen, Raphtalia. So you do have a heart, Deku. I used to, now I'm down to less most of my emotions. The comeback to there the next day with the sleeve trader having 2 cages next to him and a files in front of him, Deku grabs the files and looks them over Deku. I'll take them both, SLV trader. Excellent, they are both yours. He pulls out 2 SLV collars and puts them around the necks. They walk out of their cages. The first one is a half spider girl with both bodies. That's when the other girl slowly walks out, being a wolf girl with black hair and black wolf ears. They both look at Deku, the spider girl, looking a bit annoyed. All 3 of them walk out with the both of them at Deku, but mainly in confusion. Deku, what's your names? I never saw them in your files. Both of the girls stop and look at Deku, surprised that he isn't just calling them SLV. The spider girl glares at him and decides to speak up. Cash, and what do you want from us? Because we're not that good compared to the other ones you could have gotten. The wolf girl's tail starts to twitch. She then speaks up. We're looking at Deku. Rampage. And I'm Rampage, Deku. It's nice to meet you, Cash and Rampage. I'm Izuku Usagiyama. To my left is SBO. And my right is Raphtalia. Will we get teleported to the penalty zone in 20 minutes? Get ready for a fight, Cash. What do you mean by penalty zone? Deku explains everything about the system to them, including the penalty, the fact that he's from another world, and other stuff. That's when they all get teleported to the penalty zones, and Deku looks at his 2 new slaves. Deku. Cash, Rampage, Raphtalia, take care of them all. So you can level up while I relax a little, so I can see what you're capable of. So begin. All 3 of these slaves rush at all of them. Deku sees Rampage. His fighting style is just pure chaos. She fights like a wild animal, which Deku chucks up to being part wolf. That's when he sees Cash is climbing onto them and ripping them apart brutally like a spider. Deku pulls up the system and starts looking around. That's when he feels something odd in size. That's when the system glitches out for a second, and then a new key appears in his hand system. New quest, long live the king and a fallen god. This key will access the gate to an old friend of yours. Fulfill his final request reward. Deku, what the hell does it mean by old friend? Oh well, I checked that out. After around the time limit is finished, Deku stands in front of a tree directly in the center of the forest. All of his girls are behind him, and he puts the key into the air. The usual blue portal appears, and Deku walks through. All of his girls are looking at him confused, but that's when to step through the portal. It is an empty cave with tunnels spanning on fire. As the eye can see, they walk straight for around 20 minutes and end up in a huge room full of lava. Deku's eyes slowly widen as he sees the sleeping titan. Its reptile skin and black scales are elegant, but yet fierce. All of the girls are slightly shaking while Deku is walking up to him. Deku walks up to him and puts his hand on his nose. That's when the mouth of the titan slowly opens. Godzilla. So you finally came to see me, Deku. Yes, I have, and how long? He closes his eyes slowly, and Deku sees it's just a matter of minutes. Deku, do you want me to end this, Godzilla? You will end a friend, Deku. I will. Stop a friend's suffering, Godzilla. Do it, Deku. Goodbye, old friend. Deku pulls out Igris's sword and points it directly at Godzilla's head and stab him directly in the head, killing him. Deku leaned against him while crying. That's when he puts his hand on the corpse. Deku. Godzilla, you are my friend, which is why I want you to continue Heroes Amended, but legends never die, and you are God, which means you never rest. Now be my right hand, arise. Reality seems to stop at those words as black smoke floats out of all the gaps in between his scales, and what steps out of the corpse is a literal titan and lets out in huge raw system. New Shadow Class Shadow God. New title, Unlock King of the Monsters. When this tank, always equipped, any monster-based Shadow will have a 10% increase in XP gain for the player. Deku. Equipped title, King of the Monsters. So, G-Man, you enter my Shadow again. Or, he lets out an ear-shattering raw, and then enters Deku's shadow. A gate appears right behind them, and they all exit. Rampage. So what was that Titan about, Deku? Godzilla, a very old friend of mine, SBO. If I remember correctly, he's millions of years older than humanity itself. They continue to walk around, and Deku's eyes keep looking at the countdown. Deku, we don't have long till the ball first wave, so let's just hope we can get you two ready, otherwise the stuff's gonna get intense, especially with defending you two Cash. Whatever, as long as we get this SHD sort of rampage. I don't really mind as long as I get to rip things apart, Deku. So what I'm getting from your fighting styles, it is one fight like a wild animal. He points at Rampage, Deku, and you felt like a spider, and everything's your nest. He points at Cash. They both nod at Deku's observation over the next few days to train and get used to weapons. Deku still doesn't bother with the church. He hasn't seen any heroes nearby, but he assumes they're training. That's when we cut to the day of the wave. They're gathered in the courtyard of the castle, and Deku sees the other heroes looking at him, but he doesn't care. He stood in the center of the plaza with all of his demi-humans around him. That's when Deku looks up. As the time it hits 0, the sky begins to crack, and everybody gets teleported. Deku realizes he's in Loot Village. The sky completely cracked as monsters of all kinds start flying out of it. Underground monsters start falling once they landed. Definitely holds his hand out, making all the monsters stop in confusion. Deku, come forth, my army. That's when Deku's shadow extends as black sparks of energy shoot out. That's when his entire army appears and surrounds Loot Village. That's when the village chief runs up to Deku and looks at his shadows. Village chief, Mr. Shield Hero, I see you're going to be looking after us, Deku. Since the other heroes decided to just go straight into battle and forget about the civilians, then yeah, any monsters that come even close to the village again, immediately slotted by Deku's army. That's when a huge monster the size of a semi-truck rows at Deku. That's when a monster gets obliterated by a blue beam of fire. That's when Deku raises his thumb to Godzilla. That's when some fireballs hit Godzilla, but he shakes it off, and Deku looks towards where they came. He sees a bunch of knights and some majors. Knight Commander, we shall defend this village, Deku. What the are you doing here, Knight Commander? If it isn't the devil with the shield, well, I see the heroes aren't here, so oh well. Deku, so what, you're not going to defend this village, Knight Commander? Why should we help the devil of a shield? Come on, man. We will help the true heroes in defeating the boss. 10 majors and soldiers follow the captain, while 20 of the other decide to stay back and help Loot Village. Knight 1. Mr. Shield Heroes, do you mind if we help you with the village, Deku? Go from door to door and make sure everybody is all right. Over the next 6 hours, Deku is just chilling while ranking up a little bit of XP. Notice that the XP isn't as much as the penalty zone, but it is decent. He sees Rampage and Cash sitting outside of the village, ripping them apart. Delta hops out of his shadow and hops on his shoulder. Delta wants to have fun. Deku, go ahead, I'm not bothered. Delta runs out of the village, and Deku hears monsters screaming in fear. After another hour, a beam hit the crack, and the sky repairs itself. Deku calls back all of his shadows, and that lets his demi-humans finish off whatever was left standing. After 5 minutes, Delta walks back while biting on a skull of an orc. She then disappears into Deku's shadow. Rampage, that was fun, Cash. I have to admit, being with you is not as bad as I thought it would be. Village Chief, thank you for defending our village, Deku. Yeah, but I will want some payment in that later, Village Chief. That's very understandable. If you ever need anything, the Village of Loot is at your service as long as it's in our power. Deku puts both hands in his pockets and walks towards the capital with all of the girls following him. Deku books and in the capital with multiple beds, but that's when all of his Raphtalia and Rampage snuggle up at his bed. The next day, Deku wakes up, still being hugged by both the girls. Wakes up, shaking away the sleeping nurse, and then climbs out of the bed without waking up Raphtalia and Rampage. He notices a letter under the door and walks to it. He opens the letter and sees it to Royal Salmon to the palace for defeating the wave. He notices it says Shield Hero. Deku turns back to the girls. Deku, all right, girls, wakey. All the girls in the bed start groaning and slowly getting up. Deku, we'll be heading to the blacksmith in a little while to get some new gear. Raphtalia, why don't we just use the system? Deku, does the system has a limit? And good evening, be weird if all kitted out in god level equipment. Besides, I have him making some old friends of mine. Everybody gets ready and heads out. Rampage is acting like a curious kid while walking around, and Deku can't help but giggle. She pouts at that, but they finally get to Erhart Blacksmith. When they get there, he greets him, but then notices that the free slaves behind him and the fox girl Erhart So what's with the girls, Deku? We're slaves, and now I technically own them. So Erhardt pulls out a huge sack of gold and places it in front of Deku decorations and eyebrow, and he raises his hand. Erhardt, 100,000 gold, half of what I got for those twin flaming swords, which you never told me that they were elemental blades, so they sold for double what I thought that I got the other half, since it's fair. Deku reaches his hand out and takes the bag and drops set in the system. He sees his balance and is slightly surprised. Erhardt, I'm about these two weapons you wanted me to make. Deku, I understand if you couldn't make him since the technologies for my world. Erhardt, oh no, that ain't the issue. I managed to make them. The only issue is the firepower. I made them exactly how you said. I've even started to make some bullets for it, and the only thing is they have huge kick to it. He pulls out a briefcase with 245 long slides with intricate carvings. Deku pulls them both out and spins them. Erhardt, so what are these exactly, Deku? Well, if you made him exactly to my description, they should be Kimbo, 45 long slides with custom grips and dragon's breath rounds. Deku feels it a little bit off since they're not his old man's, but they're better than nothing. Erhardt, so these based off anything, or these just a weapon from your world? Deku, nah, no, these white chili. Based off my old man's true, lovely pieces, and they actually belong to his old man, so it's only fitting I have my own. Erhardt, well, glad to help. If you ever have any more ideas like these, I'd be happy to make them for you. But if you don't mind, can I see how they work exactly? Because I know its features are like crossbow, but that's about it. Deku points at a piece of leather armor and some iron armor. Erhardt nods. Deku spins both the guns and holds the triggers with his pinkies. Deku, jackpot. He squeezed the triggers, and they absolutely decimate the iron and leather armor, and leaving some holes in the wall behind them. Deku and Erhardt let out a satisfied whistle before noticing it also blew through the wall system. New skills unlocked. Death shot level 1, accuracy plus 10%, manner shot level 1, turn 20 m.p into 1 bullet higher level will decrease the manner to bullet ratio. Deku, I have to admit, best investment ever. Hey, Erhardt, what's up, kiddo? Deku, well, if I invite you as a friend on the shield system, what we've had in my party. Erhardt, I'm a blacksmith. What good could that do for me, though? Deku, well, you'll be able to message me whenever thanks to the system chat, and I'll be able to send direct blueprints to you for more efficient designs. Erhardt looks at Deku slightly concerned, but at the same time is pondering the effectiveness of having a system, since he's heard from some of the other heroes that have come through that the system helps with their skills and way faster. Erhardt, fine, and don't expect a discount from me, but I won't be joining you when it comes to the waves and other things like that. Deku equipped the cardinal shield and adds Erhardt to the shield system. A small glitch happens that concerns Deku for a second, but then the glitch stops and he gets added. Erhardt, what was that thing that just happened? Deku, it's called the glitch when something's bugging out mine. Taking a look at it, since I'm not good with this whole shindig. Deku hunting the shield, and he decides to take it into the back to sort it out. Erhardt, take a weapon, or each of your girls on the house, they all look around the shop and see some decent weapons and armor. So the gear, Raftalia. So are we going to do my job change quest before this event? Deku, why not? Besides, should be that hard, especially with all of us and my entire army. They saw out their armor and gear, and Deku leaves a shield behind so it could get sorted. Raftalia opens the gate to her job change quest, and they all enter. When they enter the gate turns red, and a huge pulse of energy is felt on the other side. They look around to see they're on an island with a huge mountain in the center. Deku, why does this remind me of an island in Korea? Oh well. That's when an army of red ants appear out of the surrounding forest and start attacking them. Deku is simply stepping back and killing the odd one or two, while everybody else is fighting. That's when everything seems to stop as a huge flurry of power extend from the center of the island. Deku's eyes widen, since that's slightly stronger than the level as Igris. When they first thought, Deku raises his hand and snaps his finger, and his shadow extend to cover a huge area of the island. That's when all of the shadows appear behind him, including the ones who sent out cash. So that's your shadow army. How much do you have? Deku, 3,500. Deku pulls out his 2 daggers and rushes at the army. A huge battle begins between Deku's party and the ants. Deku notices he's being watched, but plays it off. Same cheese. In the middle of the fight, Deku's army is holding back over 1,000 ants, but Deku holds his hand out, stopping his party. Deku, I've been meaning to test this skill out. That's when a huge force of power could be felt all through the island, as in the entire section gets closed of Deku, eclipse the shadow robes. While walking toward the center, he pulls out the black rose sword and holds it up with one hand. That's when all of Shadow. Garden's eyes widen alpha, so he is Lord Shadow Deku. Atomic. The isolated area fritters out for a second and disappears. Everybody's confused, but then a huge beam of purple light vaporizes all of them. Deku lands with grace in the center of the explosion. Half of the island was completely evaporated. That's when the sky starts to turn black and starts to rain. System. I am atomic level max. You will gain 100 M.P per kill with I am atomic level up. X 10, 3 legendary drops drop. 1 shadow fiction summon, a fictional character as a summoned shadow, one-time use. Phoenix Tia can bring back somebody from death 5 times. Use new weapon BFG the big gun. Show a plasma ball as hot as the sun and vaporize anything in its path. Infinite time. Use requires 5% of max M.P per shot. Deku. Holy SHD, that thing is powerful, and I'm on M.P. They continue to walk around and enter the cave where thousands of more ants are waiting. Deku pulls out the BFG. Deku, say hello to my little friend. He fires the BFG and it rips through all of them, evaporating the moles. That's when he comes face to face with the queen. But Death, you looked around and sees he got separated from the rest of his party system. Level up X5 Ant Queen. Who are you and what are you doing in my domain? Deku pulls out Yamato and quickly does I am the storm that is approaching, disappearing and obliterating the Ant Queen. Deku, DM the gum worth of space in my shadow army. At most, all you do is just make more. Deku sees the system show all of his party's vital spike, and then drop to almost dead. Deku summon 2 familiar. Deku disappears and ends up right in front of SBO. Dekus's all of his goals having a life of threatening injury, and on the break of death, who looks to see a humanoid black ant standing on 2 legs. Ant King, are you the king of these abominations? Deku puts both hands in his pockets and walks towards him. He lands 1 hit on Deku's face, and a huge dust cloud appeals. Deku spits out some saliva and punches him as hard as he can, sending him but lying back. Deku exchange star points equally in all stats. Deku walks up to SBO and pulls up the Phoenix Tears. He drops 1 in her mouth and then hand her the bottle. Deku, use it on everybody else. 1 drop is all it takes. Deku and the Ant King goes at it at full speed. Author's note, watch the original fight because that's how it goes. Deku checks on his girls and then head to the body of the Ant King. Deku, he may be dead, but I can still feel an immense aura arise. Smoke comes out of the body and envelops Deku. Why is it all dark? I can't sense anything. Did something happen with the extraction? Everything goes back to normal. Deku, I'm back. Deku hears a sludge noise behind him and turns around to see a huge ball of dark energy condensed into a blue cocoon. The cocoon cracks down the middle, and the Ant King slowly comes out. The cocoon dissolving around him. The Ant King opening his eyes, and they look like small blue flames. Deku thought bunched it for a second there. Deku begins to walk around him to get to the rest of the ants. Deku, let's go wake your pals up. To Ant King, my king. Deku's eyes go wide. Deku, did you just talk? Ant King, yes. Deku's fort. None of my other shadows can talk, so why can he? Ant King, please grant me a name. I beg you. System level 1 general rank. You may bestow a name. Deku's thoughts. General rank, everything that one before. Is speech a perk of this rank? Actually, I got a bigger question. Deku, you know I'm the one who killed you, right? So do you still wish to follow my lead? Ant King, I do. I did not die by your hand. MSTR. I was reborn. I am filled with overwhelming joy. I swear to serve you for eternity. So please grant me a name. Deku Baru. The name I grant you is Baru Baru. I am honored. MSTR. Deku, now where was I? Arise. All 5,765 of the ants resurrect and bow to Deku system. Shadow storage 9, 265/infinite ants rank night. Deku. Holy SHD, I didn't realize it was that much in here. Baru Baru. Yes, my lord. Deku. How many ants in total are there? Baru. There are over 1 million outside. Deku. Take care of them all. System. Warning, no more level up. It can be earned in this zone. Deku turns to see his girls lying down and catching back their breath. Deku notices his MP has dropped to 1, even with a shadow. Cloak it is regening, but really slow. Deku. Raphtalia. So what's your class, Raphtalia? It says 8 member of the 8 shadows. Deku's shadow extends with Alpha stepping out of it. Alpha. So I guess you're a member of Shadow Garden now, Raphtalia. I guess. So Deku activate his fictional shadow. Summon A. Huge burst of energy appears, and the huge board-like creature appears. System. You have unlocked the Dialga from the universe of Pokemon in the Pokemon universe. This is the God of Time, SSS Rank Shadow. Rank Shadow, God Shadow Storage 9. 266/infinite. Everybody looks at the god in front of them, and all of them say simultaneously, "Oh, we've got a god of our, but Dialga. So you must be the one who summoned me. May I know my new master's name?" Deku. Izuku, Usagiyama. I'm guessing now, 2 of my shadows. Can talk. The one thing I don't get, Godzilla's the same rank as you, but yet he can't talk. Dialga. I don't know, but whenever you need me you could summon me, but in the meantime I'll be back in my reality. Deku. Okay, Dialga disappears. Baru. Shall I take care of the strugglers? Deku. Come forward, Veldora. A massive black dragon appears right behind Deku, and he pats at Deku. Veldora, Igris, Baru, I want the 3 of you that go outside and slaughter. All 3 of them nod, and Igris hops on Veldora's back. When they head out after an hour, the portal opens to get out. The Deku heads out with everybody, following him the remaining of his shadows, entering as they look around to see it's sundown. So they need to head to the party. Deku meets up with Erhart. He hands Deku back his shield. It glitches out for a second, then reattaches itself to Dek, who's armed with the curse-enabled system. Warning shield system is getting merged with this one weapon limiter has been removed. All pain receptors have been neutralized. Deku. Nice one, man. Erhart. Don't worry about it. So, while the lovely ladies Deku, heading to the party like we should for the sake of your reputation, you shouldn't be caught walking around with us, Erhart. Don't worry about it. I've got this magic item that can change my appearance to anyone. I don't want to know my appearance. Deku meets up with his girls outside of the party. Erhart. Oh, before we enter, there's some rumors going around it. You own slaves for doing pleasuring. Deku. Let's go through the list, shall we? Once like an excited puppy. He points at Rampage. Deku. One of them is a lesbian. He points at Cash. Erhart. What exactly does that mean? Deku. Girl like a girl. And one of them I technically raised. The points at Raphtalia. He then points his thumb behind him at SBO. Deku. And has a Erhart looks at the mall and blinks. Erhart. So you're not interested in them in any way. Deku. Nope. I'll get ready to walk in, but Defu quickly equips his original world clothes. Everybody looks at him, and some of the girls having slight blushes. The other 3 heroes are confused, but then when they look at him, they feel jealous. He's wearing his usual red shoes, black trousers, a black jacket that goes to just below his waist with right inside, and a plain red t-shirt. His hair is somewhat spiked up, who carries himself like somebody who demands authority. Deku. Enjoy yourself, girls. He leans into Erhart and whispers. Deku, find out what you can about the rumors about me. Erhart simply nod and disappears. Deku goes to the buffet and start picking out some foods, sees the party is mainly filled with nobles and high class. Under 90% of the women are looking at him with blushes. Deku goes to the table designated for the shield hero and notices more eyes from the males glaring at him with disgust, pulls out Venom's dagger and slant it down. Everybody looks away from him. The rest of his party sits down. Next to him, they begin to chat about stuff. That's when 2 notifications come on the system. Cash and Rampage has been added as an accessory. Any XP they get will be doubled, then split between you. Deku. It looks like for now on, whenever you to get XP, I also get XP cash. So, does that mean we should start jumping up to your level, Deku? By the looks of it, that's not how it works. You 2 get XP. I get XP. I get XP, you don't, but stronger. I get the more better stuff I can get you. They continue to talk about stuff to the next few minutes. That's when a black glove lands at Deku's foot. He looks at it and scoffs. Motoyasu. I challenge you to a duel. Deku. Not interested. Motoyasu. You can't decline a duel. Deku. Don't care. Motoyasu. What heroes, we shouldn't be having as slaves. Deku. Slavery is illegal in this country. Motoyasu. But still, we shouldn't be having slaves. Deku. So what is the rewards? Motoyasu. If I win, you shall free all of your slaves, and if you win, everything stays the same. Deku. Let me get this straight. I lose some of my pieces if I lose, and yet if I win, nothing changes ya. I decline. Deku notices that Erhard is headed out before anything started. Deku, let's go girls before I get too annoyed. Rampage is scoffing her face with meat, while Nothing the All gets up and gets ready to walk out, but one of the guards stops him, the king. It has come to my attention that our shield hero has 4 female slaves. Deku, and the king. As my role as king, this duel shall happen. Deku, what do I get when I win, the king? If the shield hero shall win, nothing shall change. Deku grabs hold of this tip of the spear and crushes it with his bare hand. The king takes a step back in fear. Deku, just like I told the spear hero, I don't care. Deku looks toward his girls and notices that they have a guard behind them with a cloth over their mouth, knocking them out. The king, like I was saying, this duel happen, and reluctantly, if the shield hero wins, he shall get 90% of Sir Motoyasu's earnings since coming to this world. Deku, whatever, let's just get this done with. We cut to Motoyasu booth while waiting for the battle to begin. Magician 1. Sir Motoyasu, I have some wings that could give you an edge against the devil of the shield. Motoyasu, and that would be Magician 1. This potion, he pulls out his robes, a jet black potion. Magician 1. This potion will triple your stats for 30 minutes, but it reduces your defense by 90%. Motoyasu, so in that time I'm a gloss cannon, but in the sense my stats would beast when I'm level 66, so perfect, but I might not need it. He takes the potion and puts it in his back pocket. We cut to Deku, who is equipping some of his smaller weapons. That's when he slides ebony and ivory in the holsters just to the side of his waist. That's when the doors open and Deku walks out, the king. This shall be a one-on-one duel that means none of your summoned shield hero. Deku looks to the stands to see all of this girls tied up and gagged. That's when he looks straight ahead to see Motoyasu with a cocky grin. Motoyasu, you know you should just wait because there's no chance you will beat me. Deku, let's get this over with. Motoyasu takes 2 steps forward, then rushes at Deku, talking with him by side-stepping all of his attacks. Deku slaps Motoyasu, sending him flying into a wall and breaking it. He's barely keeping conscious and then lets out a slow growl. He slowly climbed out of the crater, vomiting a ton of BLD, making his skin go ghost pale. He pulls out a healing potion and drinks it. He wipes the BLD away from his mouth and then pulls out the black potion. He chugs it down and a huge amount of energy goes flying off him. Motoyasu, now how about you stop playing and coming fight me? Deku notices his name tag went from white to red. He pulls out ebony and ivory. Motoyasu's eyes whitening for a second, but as Deku fires, he sees the bullets are noticeably slower. He's deflecting all the bullets with his spear while laughing like a maniac. Motoyasu, my stats have tripled, and there's nothing you can do about it. Deku, then I guess it's about time to stop holding back. Deku spins ebony and ivory Henry, returning them to their holsters, and the pulling out the black rose sword and equipping Shadow's robes. He points his sword directly toward Motoyasu and slowly walks towards him. They both rush at each other. Motoyasu, Chaos Spear. As he says that, he stabbed his sword forward in rapid succession with yellow arrows being shot out of it. Deku is just barely dodging it, but then one nips his shoulder, slicing it. Deku dodges his attack and almost teleports behind him and grabs the back of his neck and slams his head straight down. Motoyasu slowly get up and points his spear towards Deku. He then points it to the sky and screams, Motoyasu, Divine Lightning Spear. Motoyasu brings history down full force as a huge ray of golden light follows his spear and stabs Deku directly in the eye. That's when, before it could pass right through him, Motoyasu rams his spear forward, blowing off half of Deku's head. Deku's body falls limp to the ground for a few seconds. System Perseverance has been activated. Deku, do you have any ibuprofen? I've got a headache. Everybody stops and looks at Deku, all of them trying not to vomit. Motoyasu, how are you still alive? Motoyasu internally panicking since there is only 1 minute 30 seconds left on his buff. Deku, allow me to enlighten you all. I have a skill, Perseverance. When my health points drop to 1, I get 60 seconds of immortality, and my HP slowly regenerates, and it has an hour cooldown from wings. The immortality stops. All the heroes go quiet at that with how overpowered that skill is. Deku, and that's one of my beginner skills. Deku gets in a quick draw stance and pulls out Yamato and looks at Motoyasu. Deku, this is one of my most overpowered skills that isn't a straight-up nuke. Motoyasu, what? Deku, you shall die. He disappears, streaks of light being right behind them, and the reality itself being slashed. Deku appears right behind him, holding his sword vertically with its sheath. As soon as you res Heath it, everything gets sliced, and Motoyasa being sliced into a million pieces. Deku, I am the storm that is approaching. He slowly gets up and looks at the pile of BLD and gore that was Motoyasu. He reached into his pockets and pull out the vial of Phoenix Tears. He lets out an annoyed sigh and drops it on him. His body reforms, but his armor is completely shredded. Deku, so you're going to try that again because I don't have any more Phoenix Tears, Motoyasu. I yield. Everybody's eyes widen in fear. The king is completely shaking. Espio frees the other girls, and they all hop down into the arena. And Deku walking off with them. Deku POV, I look over Motoyasu's prophetic frame as he starts carrying and begging for his life. I simply roll my eyes and turn around to my party, but then notice everybody is quiet. The king. It has come to my understanding that the shield hero has cheated during this duel, which means he is disqualified, and Sir Motoyasu is the winner. I immediately pull out Yamato and hold on my left side. Deku, and how exactly did I so-called cheat? The king, well, you didn't use your cardinal weapon. Deku, well, let me get this straight. You said Adore you never want Pacific, it has to be a cardinal weapon only, and even then I would slaughter him. And there are multiple reasons why I would slot to him. One, magic was allowed, because otherwise you would have disqualified him from using Chaos Spear. The king slams his fist onto his throne. The king, well, no, since their skills off his cardinal weapon. Deku, well, yes, that might have been ability from his cardinal weapon, but I could still one-shot him even without using that since I'm not sure he can survive a point-blank nuclear bomb. I see Motoyasu's face go completely pale, and he looks at me in fear. I notice the other two are also looking at me in fear, but I simply smirk. My eyes narrow as I turn back to the king. Deku, so make her move, you won't be living much longer after it. And besides, if I really wanted him dead, I wouldn't have used a Phoenix Tear. The king's face goes completely pale as he hears me say those words. System. Level up, level up, level up, new skill unlocked. Cry the Phoenix you haven't locked. To cry the Phoenix, sacrifice 1% of H.P. to create a Phoenix Tear. Can be used infinite amount of times. Perseverance level 3. When players is on 1 H.P. effect immortality will be given for 60 seconds. Effect immortality will negate all damage and regenerate 1% of HP. As long as effect immortality has been activated, warning skill upgrades have been locked until Demon King's Castle has been completed. Here comes the sun upgrade. You can now turn on off radiation and you will be completely immune to it. New quest, a lone raid on a castle. Defeat the Demon King's Castle before the next wave. Only player and shadows can enter. Familiar will not be able to be summoned. Rewards bloodlines and answers 5 bloodline skills and meeting your bloodline. Remaining time for quest 3:0:0:0 6:48:46. Deku will come back tomorrow for my rewards. I walk away, my girl's not far behind. I enter the tunnel to exit the stadium. I look at behind me to see no one is following us. Deku, Alpha? She appears out to my shadow without a sound. Alpha, you cold? Deku, deliver a message to the SLV trader. We'll be there soon. I watch as Alpha nods and then disappears. We walk to the SLV trader's tent. I notice there's a few more slaves. Unusual. That's when I see him waiting for us by his tent. He runs up to us, his posture never changing. SLV trader, what brings you here in this fine night? Deku, is it just me, or does your tent seem more full than last time? SLV trader, you have a keen eye. Yes, I actually got a new batch of SLV, well, the mainly female. Whether on the note of slaves, and may I trouble you for another crate of those SLV collars? They're one of my best-selling item in the SLV business. Now, I know what you did say that was my last crate to be getting, but I will do anything in order to get it since it brings in the most profit, even from selling some high-grade slaves to nobles. You can see my new patch before we get into business. I roll my eyes, but then follow him. I see a few cages. When I peek into one, I see familiar pink dreadlocks and golden eyes. Deku May. Without warning, the cage open, and May stands right in front of me, vibrating like a child. I then notice a pink fluffy tail and pink wolf ears on her head. May. Oh, hey boss, how you been? Deku, good. I've been good. SLV trader, I need to see the rest of your new batch. He removes the sheet covering the other cages, and I see all of my friends, but with animal features, and my aunt with a lizard tail and horns. I explain to the SLV traders that they're actually my family from my world, but I'm not sure how they got here. He decides to make a deal with me. We head to the main tent to go over the deal, SLV trader. So, it turns out 4 of my new batch are related to you, in some way, shape, or form. Usually, I'd have to make you pay for them to stay in business, but I can't sell people from your world. Deku, 8 crates of SLV collars for all of them and information about any more people that will like these. SLV trader. Deal. And you question, no, you're lucky. I found these as I was heading back from my safe house from doing the waves a crack appeared, and these one fell out of it wood. Deku, I'm thinking you could be lying to me to hide some of the priceless goods, since some nobles would pay a lot especially to get some leverage over me. I noticed him go completely pale when I mentioned that, and his hand started to twitch. Deku, what are you hiding? SLV trader. Well, I'm surprised you haven't heard yet, but the angelic church of the heavens against the shield hero. My mom stomps her foot on the ground, scaring the SLV trader. He raises both of his hands in a pleading motion. SLV trader. Illicit information is a trader's best friend and worst enemy. I have connections, and while they say a small elite force is coming to eliminate the so-called devil of the shield, meaning you and all of your companions. Deku, come forth Alpha Gamma. My shadow erupts with power as both of them step out, the SLV trader's eyes slowly whitening. Deku, find out everything you can about this church. Gamma, what's the limit that you want to dive into? Deku, everything from their military might to their spending habits, no stone left unturned. Alpha and Gamma nod. 100 Shadow Guard members then hate out wisdom, and the SLV trader is looking at me. SLV trader, in all of my years, I haven't seen any skill like that. May I know what it is? Deku, you only need to know basis. SLV trader, I completely understand. Well, back on topic about what I know about the angelic church of the heavens, where to begin with them. They believe every word Pope says is their God's word. We know exceptions. They absolutely despise the shield hero, which is bad for you, and the military might is the strongest in the entire all of the kingdoms, could take down the last set of heroes. So they say, but apart from that, everything else is kind of restricted. Even I can't get my hands on much more. I will tell you something when they said. The eyes on some Medi as the enemy of their god. They're as good as dad, especially if they've been in that A's, but she rarely gets involved, and when she does, hits usually to wipe out an entire organization that don't respect their god, and that's as much as I can tell you right now. Mirko, you know all this how exactly? SLV trader. Well, I may or may not have sold him a few of your SLV collars, and I may or may not have ordered one to slip some of my BLD into their collar. Then may the SLV give me all the information she can and update me regularly on it, you know. But security purposes, good to know who's on their good side and who's on the bad side. May, showing the senses that you infiltrated them using their own greediness for power, and then absolutely this side to backstab them by giving one of their worst enemies the information. I smoke as the SLV trader looks at me and pales. May, and yet you know which is the stronger and winning side, so you decided to team with us for your own safety. SLV trader. How did you know? Deku, and that's genius, I know. SBO, I still don't get why you like her, but at the same time, she's good at intel. May, I raise my finger and stopping them before they can start bickering. I lean forward while crossing my arms. Deku, and the military numbers. SLV trader. Well, they have just under 100, but they do have some majors with items that can resurrect the dead. Deku, one thing, don't get the king freaked out when I mention Phoenix Tears. What is that about? SLV trader. Well, phoenixes are very rare sight, and only the angelic church of the heavens has access to them, and even a single one is worth more than anything I could get my hands on the black market. Deku, like promised, 8 crate of SLV collars. SLV trader. Please take a monthly egg as a token of our mutual partnership. I walk to the case of monster eggs and take one, then I say, while making the crates appear, I then walk out. I see it's getting really late, so I walk towards the inn. We stand outside. Deku. SBO explained the situation to my mom, Aunt Ryuko, May, and Yui. Mirko, and you? Deku. For the sake of our own safety, I gotta deal with things. I then simply continue walking till I get to the dance forest just outside of town. I look around for a few seconds before closing my eyes and then opening them. Deku. Igris Baru's Shadow Garden, come forward. My shadow extends in front of me as Shadow Garden Igris, and Baru kneel before me Baru. You call my king? Deku, Epsilon Zeta, I'm putting you two in charge of bringing Shadow Garden to its former glory beta. Take 50 members of Shadow Garden and infiltrate the angelic church of the heavens. Zeta, and I'm guessing you want us to recruit some new members, Deku. Taking slaves, orphans, anything at the Source Shadow Garden needs to be at former glory, and also keep an eye on my party Baru. What about us? Deku, you that will be coming with me. But first I need you to tell them I'll be heading into the dungeon. Baru, it will be my honor. Baru immediately Spencer's wings and zooms off. I have a look at the small monster egg in the palm of my hand, but then slide it into my system. I open the gate to the dungeon, my eyes narrowing intensely. Baru returns. Baru, I have returned. We walk through the portal and enter a city completely on fire, buildings falling over. I then see a huge Cerberus. I raise my hand, stopping all of my shadows, and I walk towards it. Lights out, a low menacing growl towards me. Third-person POV, we see the free-headed Cerberus growl, then leans in close. Deku pulls out Venom's dagger and rashes at it. He immediately starts slicing its legs, but sees it has an extremely fast regeneration. The Cerberus uses its tail to whack Deku, sending him flying back. Deku gets up and sprints towards it. He reels his fist back and punches it square in the Cerberus metal height, sending it flying. You can launch his Venom stagger straight at its middle head before it could bite down on it, removing it. He fires Ebony and Ivory into the other two heads, killing it instantly. System level up Deku, 20 points into intelligence system. MF.P has gone from 95,982 to 128,412. Deku POV, I look over the destroyed city. My eyes now ring intensely. Deku, Godzilla. My shadow extends as Godzilla stands out towering over the gate that the Cerberus was guarding. Deku, I want all of you to go on a rampage. Veldora, yo, keeping me, and I want to watch it from above. Veldora nod at me. I climb on his back, and he flies straight up in the air. My shadows knock down the gate, and stuff rushing into the city. Deku, open infantry. My inventory opens. I see a bunch of boxes with different items, and I see most of my weapons along the top. I see 2 max skill orbs, and I pull out one of them. Are you looking over its smooth circular form, looking like it's been crafted by gods? I close both my eyes and crush its system. My Nair shot level max, turn 1 M.P into 1,204 bullets. I pull out my monster egg and look at it. It begins to crack, and a small white bird with red-tipped feathers and immediately hops up and lands on my head, snuggling into my hair system. Warning, some errors have been found, removing all friends and turning them into add-ons. Warning, this is not optional. I stop and blink at the system. Third person, we cut to the inn room where Deku's party are talking. Raphtalia, I can't access the system anymore. May, what is the last message before I kicked you? Raphtalia, it said a bug has been found, removing all friends. May, I'm guessing the whole friend part was the bug. Mirko, on another topic, which one you're going to be dating, my boy? May, I got feelings for boss. What about you lot? SBO, no feelings here. Cash, only into women. They look towards Rampage and Raphtalia. Rampage, I am. Yui, since we've met, about a crush on them. Raphtalia, I mean, I've thought about it a few times, but he only sees me as somebody he raised. Ryuko, I'm guessing you don't know then? SBO, you mean about the stronger he gets, the less emotions he has? Cash, I think I remember him talking about it. They continue to talk. Deku's POV, the system notifies me that my new companion is a filial. Deku, Igris. As I say that, he appears out of my shadow while I watch the carnage down there. Deku, I need you to help Philo get stronger. Igris tilts his head in confusion. Deku, weaken the enemies, and then left Philo finish then. This is also a test for you on restraint, since you didn't show much of that when you beat the CRP out of me. I shake my head and hand Philo over to Igris. Jumps off of Eldora's back and hits the ground. I let out a little smirk and then a half off Eldora's back as he skydives straight into or hold the monsters and starts ripping them to shreds with his teeth. I see the boss and an army of skeletons in front of it. I walk behind it and stand on top of it from I look down at it with an audience. Deku, it's almost too easy. The undead sitting on the throne stops and turns to me. Deku, I wonder if the undead fear. But who cares? I use BLD, then immediately disappear, swinging my blade, decapitating the undead unstand with both of my hands, pointing backwards with both daggers in my hand system. Level up X5 system, new skill infantry. Shadow your inventory can now be shared with your shadows, and they can put items in warning skill cannot be leveled up. Deku, 15 in intelligence, 5 in strength, 10 in agility. Igris works behind me, with Philo being the size of Igris, have fluffy red and white fevers. I check her status and see she's already at level 20-inch Deku. Us than I expected, but good nonetheless. I pat the both of them on the head. I look to the cops to see just a ticket on the floor surrounded by dust. I grab the ticket. It glows. System. Demon Lord Castle level 2 unlocked. Would you like to continue? Yes/no. I look to my system's infantry to see a few new corpses. I pull them all out to see 5 assassins dressed in all white and a 297 of skeletons. I drop their bodies into a huge pile. Deku, pledge your allegiance to the monarch before you. Arise. System. 5 angelic assassins, rank elite soldier, 297 shadow skeletons, rank night shadow, storage 9, 568/infinite Deku. We're moving to the next floor. Except, me and all of my shadows get teleported to the next floor. I look around to see the entire city is frozen over with giant ice glaciers going all over the place. I see Philo shivering and yawning. I open this system shop and pull out 2 cloaks. I throw one over her, and I put one on system. New skill unlocked, Monarch Domain. Level 1 cost 10% of max M.P, where the player sees as the battlefield. Monarch Domain will cover all shadows, will have a 10x increase in stat. Shadows will be twice as strong, and cost 0.5 M.P to resurrect. I pull out the max level crystal and crush it. The system bugs out for a second system. Skill unlocked, Monarch Domain level max cost 1% of max M.P, where the player sees as the battlefield. Monarch Domain will cover all shadows, will have a 100x increase in stats. Shadows will be twice as strong and cost 0.1 M.P to resurrect. XP will be tripled in Monarch's Domain. Deku. Monarch's Domain. My voice echoes through the floor as my shadow extends, covering the entire of the second floor. I can see a purple outline of all the monsters on this floor. Deku. You know what? I haven't seen him in a while, so. Dialga. The air distorts around me, and then Dialga kneeling his front legs in a bowing gesture. Dialga. You'll call me my lord? Deku. I want to see what you're capable of. Dialga. I sense I am 100 times stronger. Deku. New skill. Dialga decides to roll with it and flies it off into the distance. The rest of my shadows spread out and start slaughtering them. I see the purple outlines slowly start to disappear. I slowly walk straight through the clearing, Philo rushing at some of the monsters, ripping the heads off and crushing the best skulls. I see my infantry being filled with mainly skeletons and low-level creatures. I select the creatures in my inventory and turn them into XP, just barely bringing up my XP to go. This is interesting. I didn't turn items into XP. I'm guessing the rare items give more XP. I continue to walk, and I see all of the enemies are destroyed apart from the ones by the center. I walk right in front of a group of skeletons, and before they could even make a move, I sprint full speed and slice, sew them into pieces. System. Level up, Deku. 5 vitality system. H.P has gone from 91,473 to 102,415. We continue up the floors, the environment changing drastically with each floor. We land on the 10th floor. We see the temp flow is just like the first floor. We enter a building. Dekai. Want a lot to stay on guard while me and Philo take a rest. Baru, make me and Igris take care of this floor while you rest. Deku, fine to keep it down. I snuggle up with Philo and fall asleep. Deku. Your feathers are getting too stuffy. Philo. After a few hours, I wake up to see a naked little girl. Deku. What have you done with Philo? Philo. What do you mean, MSTR? I stop and look at the floating name above her. Philo. Deku. I immediately look for my system and find a white dress that can transform. I pull it out and give it to her. Deku. Can't have you walking around naked in a place like this. Philo. Okay. I head out the room while Philo gets stressed. I see a notification that I've got the entry pass to the next floor. Philo. I'm ready. I simply nod before accepting entering the next floor. When we get there, I see it's just like the second floor. Deku. show the tower only as 10 different environments, but it would make sense different falls, different monsters. I use Monarch domain again, and I see a bunch of purple outlines. I head straight to the boss, my shadow split up, and I head straight towards the boss system. Warning, you have 50 staff points. You will not be able to level up till they are spent. Deku, 20 intelligence, 10 strength, 20 agility. That means in these last flaws I've leveled up 10 times. I continue to walk and come face to face with the boss area. This time, it's more humanoid monsters with red and block skin system. M.P has went from 102,415 to name 134,263 talk underlings of demons. All of them notice me and raw before rushing at me. I pull out every and ivory flick the SWCH, turning them to full automatic Isaac squeeze. The trigger, my M.P, is going down really slow compared to its usual rate. I fire for 5 minutes straight, and my M.P only goes down 10. All of the monsters drop dead, including the boss, but then a glow happens as 6 figures appear. One of them is running a blue open trench coat, too huge. 2 pointed ears the top of her head. She wears casual clothes, but has a cortana in her right hand, with long white hair tied up with a small red string. Her outfit is white with black, and she's wearing sunglasses. I look towards the 2 last figures to see one of them looks like a carbon copy of me, except he's got white hair and black highlights. The last figure is a tall man with messy white hair and a red trench coat. Dante. Hey Hisashi, isn't that your boy? We all look at each other confused for a few minutes before start talking. I figure out that in this dungeon they are back from the dead and they can fight like regular. We decide to see how fast we can get the tower. We rush up the floors. Philo and my shadows are rushing around the edges, getting all the strugglers. Miyabi. So you're my cousin's kid? Deku, yeah I am. Dante, so? Guns of swords? Alpha. Seriously, uncle? Hisashi. Seriously, dad, I mean I'm curious like the rest of you, but with the literally just met at him. Deku. I use sort of mainly use his swords, but sometimes I SWCH out to daggers and guns. Virgil. So you're a real Sparta. I call back all of my shadows, and we decide to see how far we can get. Without them, we struggled a little on floor 50 with the final boss, but we managed to win. We continue to climb up the floors, getting to know each other better. On the 98th floor, they decide to take care of this floor on their own. I'm sitting on the top of a fallen tower. I hear movement behind me. I then grab a female knight by the neck and slam her to the ground. She removes her helmet to reveal purple hair and pointed ears. Well, armor is red and gold, but I decide to not let down my guard, and I pull out Venom's dagger and nip her neck with its purple veins. Climb up a skin. Deku. 1 minute 40 seconds till your death. So tell me, what do you want? Essel. I am Essel. Esselridri, you are in my father's territory. I notice her arms are shaking and her face is paling. I drop her and pull out an antidote potion. She drinks it. Baru immediately appears behind me. Baru. My lord, your father and his family have set off to the lower floors, seeing to clean up the extras. Deku. Okay. Just tell them what I'll meet them on the 100th floor. Baru nod and then disappears. I look back at the demon. Deku. Take me to him. I want to know what I'm dealing with. Essel escorts me to a giant palace. A bunch of guards try to stop me, but I change my shield to the chainsaw shield, and I do a quick spin and launch my shield towards them. Their armor being cut through like paper. My shield comes flying back to me. I outstretch my right arm, and it slides to the back of my palm. I then slam it on my back. Deku. Keep removing. Essel nods her head, and we continue. We enter huge phone rooms. I look at all their name tags to see that they're still white. I look at the guy sitting on the throne, and my eyes just narrow. Essel. I have returned. With one of the humans that were here. Demon King, why have you brought a human into my castle? They continue to talk. I cross my arms and notice some pop-ups. Demon King. Human, what business do you have here? Deku. I'm here to defeat this dungeon. I need the entry permit to get to the 100th floor. Demon King. Sorry, but this is where your journey ends. The Demon King stands raising his hand. Reality seems to shift as the gap between us begins to lengthen, and all of his cards seem to multiply before pointing their weapons towards me and Essel. Demon King. Well, like I said, your journey ends here, human. I watch as the Demon King slowly stands up and grabs a sword. He then points it at me, with all of his soldiers doing the same. I look towards Essel. Deku. Which side you're on? Essel grabs her saw shakily. She put her back to mine. Demon King. I see my own daughter has caused treason against her kingdom, but oh well. I pull out Yamato and walk slowly towards the throne. Armies of guards try to stop me, but I swing my blades, slicing their body into pieces. She ran to the back of the angel and jumped with the use of Dominator's touch with the hallway continues to get longer. So I grab up my shield in my hand and SWCH it to the chainsaw shield. I then throw it, slicing one of the demon's heads off it, then bounces off the wall and continues. To slice their heads off, I slowly walk the Demon King's face. Becoming more and more panic, he snaps his fingers. The hallway grows to almost a mile long. My shield continues to bounce, decapitating them all. I swing Yamato. I swing it horizontally and vertically, opening a portal right in front of the Demon King. Demon King. Just what the hell are you? Deku. I'm a shadow monarch. Before anything could be said, Igris appears out of my shadow and swings his blade straight up, slicing the Demon King and her. The entire room stops before returning back to its normal size. Igris walks to the remaining demons and slices them. With one swing, I sit on the throne while opening my notification system. 5 hidden quests completed. I raise my eyebrow. System. Hidden quest spears mistake. The spear hero decided to use a cursed seed for a farming. You have sorted out the farming and defeated the cursed seed. Quest completed. Rewards 100 stat points and 2 max skill. Orbs. Hidden quest swords mistake. The sword hero left a wyvern's corpse to rot, poisoning a dragon's. Removed the body. An owner of the town sold the dragon's daughter to SLV traders. Find her and rescue her. Quest completed. Reward 100 stat points. Skills. Shadow manipulation. You can now manipulate your shadow at will. Passive 0M.P hidden quest bows mistake. This bow hero messed up the hierarchy of a village, sought out its mistakes. Quest completed. Reward 100 stats points. Skills. Gravity slam. Level 1 W circle appear on the ground that you can force gravity to be 100x stronger. Cost 200 M.P hidden quest cardinals mistakes. Fix all of the cardinal heroes' mistakes completed. Reward 100 stat points. The Black Heart of Carnage warning perception needs to be 100 to gain information on item hidden quest. Defeat the ace. The Angelic Church of the Heavens has threatened the player defeat their ace to bring down their morals. Completed. Reward 100 stat points. Skill Ruler's Authority level 1 passive skill. Create a hand of pure energy that you can manipulate like at your own. Level up 5x. Deku. I really been negating my perception. Okay, let's sort out my 425 stat point. I look over all my stats to see a few of them lacking. Deku. 50 strength, 50 vitality, 65 luck, 140 perception, 80 agility, 80 intelligence. Now all of my stats are in the triple digits. Open information of Black Heart of Carnage. System. Black Heart of Carnage info. A black beating heart can be placed in their corpse for total obedience. That will be on path with the current level of the player. Warning Black Hat of Carnage. When placed in a court quotes, will have complete obedience. Warning some information is locked and until Black Heart of Carnage is used. Deku. So it can resurrect a corpse, but when it says complete obedience, I'm going to have to think about what to use this on. It seemed way too powerful. I grab the entry permit to the next floor, and I wait for my family to return from the lower levels. We all stand in the throne room. Alpha. Sorry, SQR, but when are going any further? Deku, why was so close? Dante. Yeah, but there's nothing waiting for us up there, but there is for you, so. Virgil. You're going to have to complete this dungeon on your own. You have your shadows, Philo, and that girl. Miyabi. We ain't leaving you empty-handed, though. Hisashi. Like my cousin said, we're not leaving you empty-handed. Virgil, hand me the fake. I look at him confused, but then he points at my Yamato. I hand it to him, and he passes me his. System. You have gained the original Yamato attack damage infinite, a sword that can cut through anything and create portals. Hisashi. I know you have your custom-made ones that are way better, but. He hands me the original ebony and ivory Alpha. Sorry, I don't have anything. Miyabi. Miniva Dante. Here you go, Blue Rose. He pulls out a silver double-barrel revolver with a wooden handle and carvings in the barrel and cylinders. I take it, twirl it. Then when I pull the trigger, both cylinders fire, and 2 bullets fly and hit the building in the same spot. System. Item Blue Rose double-barrel revolver weapon. Has armor-piercing grounds that can pierce 90% of armor's. Warning. Will not pierce holy armor. Will damage holy armor. New title Sparta's last ascendant stats will be multiplied by X. 2 Deku. What about Nero? Alpha. He's too much of a baby to be called a Sparta. Dante. I mean, she ain't wrong. I look at the rest of them to see them nothing Deku. Well, see you around. Miyabi. Best just hope it's not in the afterlife. We burst out laughing before I get ready to set off to the next floor with Philo, and Essel we teleport to the next floor, and I see it's just a really long hallway, and I see a huge summoning circle on the other end. I feel a bunch of statues with light yellow names. All the statues turn their heads toward us, and then take a few steps forward, covering the entire hallway in guards. I stare across the entire hallway and use BLD, lowering all of their names to a pale yellow Philo. So what are we going to do now? Deku, make our way to the boss. You two stay behind. You might just get caught in the crossfire. Essel, okay. I pull out blue rose and fire the bullet, ripping a small amount of them. I put the revolver back in the system and pull out Yamato, walk down the hallway, swinging Yamato with one hand. The blade cutting through them would stop to see every time I kill one. A few more take its place. I use shadow manipulation and extend my shadow across the entire hallway and snap my fingers. Huge black spikes made of pure shadow dab all of the monsters down the middle, killing them instantly. More monsters keep appearing, but they keep getting stabbed, and by my shadow, we continue to walk for the next 10 minutes. Fight elite, getting to the other side system. Level up X2 Deku. 10 points intelligence. My shadow extends as Technoblade comes out holding his diamond sword on his shoulder. Technoblade. When you call this all for a rampage in that earlier, I was quite skeptical, but I'm just going to little rampage myself. Deku, when we get back, you could do your own thing. Technoblade. So you're telling me when we get back to the real world, I get to just do my own thing? I give him a thumbs up. The answer is my shadow again. But before we continue, I open my system inventory. I then notice two new bodies. One is of a big black dragon with its flash being decayed. Then I see a body of a girl. I pull out both bodies and notice the female is wearing cold white. Deku, arise. My shadow extends, piercing the bodies before ripping out the bodies' shadows. The dragon skin is more fixed, and its scales glisten black. My eyes narrow as I turn to the female. White armor turning black with purple magma, throwing in it her blonde hair, turning boys black with her skin turning white. The holy sword turning black with a purple guard and a black skull with its black handle, whose sword being as long as her leg, but she bows system. Shadow Dragon, rank General. Angelic Church of the Heavens, Ace, new rank, Ace. Warning, some of your shadows have changed rank. Essel. No one has entered the 100th floor. Deku, I want you to stay out of the way. Philo, okay, Dad. I completely stop before clearing my head. I use the entry permit to enter the 100th floor. When we enter, there's a huge gate the size of SKYSCR. I walk to the door and push it open. A huge gust of power pushes Philo and Essel back. But I stand my ground, and the walk I hear a roar from the sky, and I look up to see a being stood on top of a wyvern's back. The being lets out a huge scream as 50 doors appear from the ground, as different kind of demons that appearing out of the doors. Deku, come forward. My shadow extends as my entire army starts appearing. Both armies are equally matched in strength, but my army is getting overwhelmed by numbers. I point two fingers and my thumb up while having my index and pinky finger down. Deku, domain expansion, monarch domain. The ground turns purple as all of my shadow's blue sections turn dark purple. Our armies clash. I throw my dagger straight towards his wyvern. It slices through its wing, making it hit the ground. It roars, but then gets crushed by Godzilla. 4 huge doors appear behind Godzilla. As for Titan demons appear me, and the demon monarch lock eyes. Before we draw our weapons, I pull out black rose sword and blue rose. I rush at him and block his sword. Swinging down with my shield, I immediately point blue rose at his chest and fire. 2 rounds, he immediately jumps back and blocks with his sword. The bullets bounce off his sword, hitting 2 of his underlings. I continue to fire blue rose while rushing at him, and swinging with black rose sword punches me. I get sent flying back, and I stop my soul in the ground to slow my descent. We both stopped. When the fighting halt, we look around to see all of my shadows and all of his army are completely wiped out. I turn my head to the system and see I'm completely out of mana. That's when the sky slowly starts to darken as rain starts to fall. That's when lightning strikes the ground in between us. Then we rush at each other. I immediately equip Shadow's robes and then jump in here and fire blue rose at his head. He immediately died and we continued fighting. He immediately swings his sword down, cracking the ground. That's when he pulls out a dagger and stops me straight in the heart. He then kicks the dagger straight through my chest, sending me flying back. I slowly get up. System. Perseverance has been activated. I see my wounds be regenerated and my H.P slowly goes up miles, lightly looking at his girls. I change my block rose sword to Yamato. I then rush at him and swing my sword straight toward his chest. He blocks it with his sword, but my sword goes right through it, cutting him in half. His body immediately regenerates. My eyes whiten, but I continue to swing my blade, cutting through his defense, but his body regenerating. He then grabs my wrist and snaps it before kicking me and ripping my arm off. My eyes widen, and then I notice my HP has dropped it to 50 M.P. I use full recovery and then rush back at him. I slide underneath his legs, chopping them off, and he immediately wraps his tail around my neck and then keeps slamming me into the ground. I cut his tail off and then slide backwards. He slowly turns around, growling at me, then picks up one of his dead soldiers' swords and then disappears. He then swings his blade diagonally and slices my chest open. He then kicks me straight into the gate that we entered, crew breaking it down. I notice my M.P hasn't been regenerating since it's begun my health. He walks up to me, grabs me by the neck, and launches me across the battlefield. The demon monarch slowly walks up to me, his sword in his hand. He raises his sword and is about to bring it down, but then a kick hits him in the head. As a sword hit him, my vision starts to blur as I see Philo and Essel froze their attack at him. He grabs them both by their heads, crushing them, and then launches them into the ground. He then walks closer to me and raises its sword. He's about to bring it down, but then time stops. System. Warning, player is about to die. Would you like to accept one of your rewards for making it to the 100th floor? Warning, if not, heart will stop in 0.2 seconds. Accept/decline. Deku. I accept. System. New skill unlocked. Devil Trigger level 1. Become your devil form for 2 minutes. All your stats will be increased by X10. Warning, skill will go on a 10-minute cooldown. Every kill will bring it down 1 second. I pull out a max skill orb and crush it. System. Skill Devil Trigger level max. Become your devil form for 20 minutes. All your stats will be increased by X1. 000. Warning, skill will go on a 10-minute cooldown. Every kill will bring it down by 1 second. I close my eyes and activate Devil Trigger. A huge boost of power sends the demon monarch flying back. Author's notes: play Valiant Hats Devil Trigger. I look at my body to see some drastic changes. I stand at over 9 feet tall. I have 4 wings on my back. My body is pitch black with purple access. Author's notes: think of Dante's Devil Trigger, but black and purple. I disappear and knee the demon monarch square in the face, breaking it. He goes flying back. I pull out Yamato and get in a quick draw stance. Deku shall die. I disappear and reappear right behind him. Deku, I am the storm that is approaching. He immediately starts regenerating, but I smirk and then start punching him while his regeneration is slowly failing him. I pull out my ebony and ivory and then start firing my bullet, ripping through him before he could regenerate. I continue to land. Hey, Makers' regeneration is failing him more and more. I ran my arm straight down, ripping him in two. I then continued to use my claws to rip him apart and then grab his head and, removing it off his body before it could regenerate, I summon Veldora and throw his head into his mouth. Veldora rips it apart while biting it down. Third-person POV, we see the rest of the Izuku's family watching him from a distance. Dante, would I unlocked it if we were there? Virgil, and that's 4 Spartas that could be bury the light. They all begin to fight. We Deku POV. I look at the corpses of Philo and Essel. My Devil Trigger runs out, and I look down at their bodies. I pull out an empty vials and use Cry of the Phoenix. I hold my hand above the vial, and a small cut appears. I feel a huge amount of my H.P disappear. That's when I pour it into Philos' body. I look at Essel's body and remember the black heart of carnage. I look at it for a second before putting the heart in her body. It's slowly regenerating your body. Looks the same butter. Expression is a bit more relaxed. System. Hidden black heart of carnage notification in the demon world, giving somebody the black half of carnage is offering them to have your offspring. Deku, what the dash? I sit down, my eyes never. System. Quest complete. Bloodline rewards soul blade. Turn your soul in a sword that you can manipulate that will cast 100 M.P reward. 2 demon stance separate human from Devil Trigger. While using demon stance, your XP will be tripled. Reward 3 devil arms. After defeating gay bars, there is a chance the boss will turn into a devil arms. Level up X10. I stop and hear coughing behind me. I turn around to see the demon monarch almost fully regenerated while standing up. He goes on a monologue, but I block out most of it. He then picks up another sword and points it towards me. I pull out a gold coin from the system and flick it up. His eyes lock on the coin as I swipe it out the air and slap it on the back of my hand. Deku, tails. Demon monarch, what? A huge black tail slams down on him, cracking the floor and sending him flying to the first level. I peek my head down the huge hole and turn to Godzilla. I raise my thumb to him, and he does the same third-person POV. We see the same shadowy figure, and Sparta laughing. Holy SHD, that was funny. He fell out of this chair whilst continuously laughing. Sparta. Haha, you could definitely tell he is a Sparta. We cut to the rest of the Spartas rolling on the floor laughing, and the Virgil Bailey holding himself up with Yamato. Deku POV is stretch before looking at the timer and see there is no chance I'll be able to go Devil Trigger in this fight. I walk to the hole in the floor and drop straight down. I see the Monarch of Shadow looking around in confusion. I put both of my legs together and drop kick him. You get sent into a crater and I hop backwards. Demon Monarch. As long as there's one drop of BLD in me remaining, I will always regenerate. Deku. So I guess I got to erase every drop of you from existence. Third-person POV. Deku slowly walks towards the Monarch of Demons. Deku takes one step, his footstep echoing through the empty battlefield. A purple cybernetic pattern creeps across the battlefield, isolating it straight up to the 100th floor. We see the shadowy figure and the Spatter family completely hold still. Nothing could be heard except Deku's voice. Deku. I started alone, and it looks like I always have to be alone to get stronger. I guess I'm solo leveling. Demon Monarch. Just what the hell are you? Deku points his finger, and from towards the Demon Monarch the entire air seems to stand still. Deku. I am atomic. Deku puts his thumb down. Everything goes quiet as the light disappears. Then everything loses its color before getting lighted up by a purple glow. A purple beam of light shoots straight up through all the floors, covering them in a purple light. The light finally dies down after a few seconds and decorated inside of a crater with not even a pebble in it. Deku jumps into the air with Veldora find under him and bring him back to the top floor. Deku POV. I look at the system after we land on the 100th floor system. Warning, new shadow ranks and level enabled. And now on your shadows will have to level up to 25 before being promoted to the next rank. Ranks hours followed. 1 normal, 2 elite, 3 soldier, 4 knight, 5 elite soldier, 6 elite knight, 7 commander, 8 general, 9 legend, 10 right hand commander, 11 ace, 12 shadow god, 13 marshal, 14 finally grand marshal. Warning, with the new rank, shadows will need to be re-ranked. Warning, will take 2 hours before all shadows have been re-ranked. Shadows will be disabled till new ranks have been given. As soon as we land, Veldora gets sucked in my shadow. I walk to my girls as a portal appears right behind them. Deku. You might not be used to the world outside of here, but you can have to adapt fast. When we exit, we're in an open field, and I see the castle in the distance. I hear shouting behind me, and they turn around to see my party fighting a bunch of monsters. I look at the system and see they're between level 51 to 60. I woke up to them, and I immediately defend from an axe kick from my mom. Philo is looking at with confusion. Mirko, explain what happened. I shake my head and then sit down. I then explain everything's happened in the dungeon, from meeting the other Spartas and finding out that my bloodline is part demon. Ryuko. How long till the next wave? Deku. For day system. Shadows have been re-ranked. Ranks as followed: Technoblade rank, Legend Igris rank, General Sam rank, Elite Knight Veldora rank, General 57 Shadow Knights rank, Soldier 200 Shadow Elves rank, Knight Alpha rank, Elite Knight Beta rank, Elite Soldier Gamma rank, Elite Soldier Delta rank, Elite Knight Epsilon rank, Elite Soldier Zeta ranked, Elite Soldier Eta rank, Elite Soldier 3,272 Shadow Garden members rank, Soldier Iron rank, Elite Soldier 3 Shadow Mages rank, Soldier 9 Shadow Bears rank, Soldier Shadow Ants 5,765 rank, Soldier Godzilla rank, Shadow God Dialga rank, Shadow God 5 Angelic Assassins rank, Elite Soldier 297 Shadow Skeletons rank, Normal Baru rank, General rank, Elite Knight rank, General Deku. I forgot to name my two new shadows. I summon a black dragon almost like Veldora, except it's slightly smaller and way more skinny Deku. How about Alex? The dragon nod, and then the girl comes out, her black sword being half the size of her, and she goes on one knee. Deku, you are now Jackie. I feel all eyes on me when I turn around. I see May looking at me with confusion and a smirk. May, Jackie, really? Deku, what before she became a shadow? She was known for ripping apart people with her sword, so Jackie. Jackie the Ripper. Jackie, thank you for the rename, my lord. I wave my hand, and Jackie heads back into my shadow. Deku, at most this next wave will be difficult for use. 25 agility, 25 strength. Philo is playing with May. I slightly roll my eyes at this. I notice a presence in the trees, and Alpha walks out. She's wearing a casual clothes instead of the Shadow Garden uniform. She walks up to me and bows. Deku, report? Alpha, we have 50 new Shadow Garden members in training. 50 Shadow Garden members have infiltrated the church, including Gamma. We also a trading company known as the Void Trading Company. It is run by the rest of the 8 shadows. Deku, good enough. Information? Alpha, sorry, but we can't get any more information on the church at this moment, but Shadow Garden is waiting for your command to immediately turn on them. Deku, all right, continue to gather information and continue to grow Shadow Garden. System, new quest back to the beginning. Sometimes to take a step forward, you need to head to the beginning. I noticed a key appears in my infantry, and I grab it. I look at it for a few seconds before putting it back in. Deku, 4 days till the next wave, so we need to get ready. Yui, you seem to be stronger. What level? Deku, around 100. Everybody completely stops, then looks at me. Deku, am I going to be dealing with this wave? Essel, I don't mind causing some carnage with you. She starts clicking her knuckles. Mirko, what's with the crazy dash? Deku, system tricked me. We all go quiet after that. We hear a roar as a huge bear brings a tree towards us. I casually kick it out the way and look at the bear. I raise my hand, a red circle appearing beneath it. I then slam my hand to the ground as it slowly gets slowed down before getting reduced to a puddle of mush, its bones cracking under the gravity. Deku, so that's what that does. May, what? Yui, Ryuko dash. Espio was. Mirko, that? Deku, new skill gravity slam. I can technically increase gravity by 100x. Raftalia, you leave for 2 months. We barely improved in yet. You can literally do that. Deku, yes, why? I see them all apart from Philo Facebomb. Ryuko, I thought I was blunt. So whatever skills did you get? Deku, I can no fire a Glock 19 for auto for entire minute. We've only using 1M.P, and I have a few other abilities from my bloodline, and that's about it. Oh, I ain't like that original guns. Raftalia, great, you're any more powerful than your 2 months. Deku, if you want, you can sit up this next wave and just get stronger. Well, me and my shadows take care of it. Mirko, I might be a battle-hungry fighter, but even I know we should sit this one out. I look around to see it's only going to be me, Philo, and Essel will be dealing with the next wave, Espio, besides to stay back on account of just in case more assassins decide to try some things. Timescape 4 days. If we're waiting in the courtyard of the castle, I see a bunch of knights around us, and I see the other free heroes and their parties a stretch. Philo sharpening her claws on a rock, while Essel, it's just looking at a blade. The clock strikes 0 as the sky cracks again with us all being teleported. Inside of the canyon, I see a huge floating ship in the distance, a stretch as a huge amount of monsters start appearing from the distance. The entire canyon gets flooded with monsters to the other 3 cardinal heroes and their party just ignoring the monsters and heading straight for the boss. I put my head down and shake it before looking towards them and summoning some soul swords. I snap my fingers and my soul sort of flying towards every monster and then exploding into smaller swords. And continuing, I make it to the dead center. I make 4 soul blade behind me and have them spinning. A monster goes to stab me in the back, but then gets completely sliced by the blades. I continue to watch as more and more start to appear. I check my wrist and realize I don't have a watch. I notice the fighting still going on there. So I use soul swords. I'm using them as steps. I kept to the top of the canyon and see a bunch of monsters guarding of the bridge to the ship. I roll my eyes and slowly walk. I see a huge golem made of metal raw at me, but I pull out the chainsaw shield. Unfro, it bounces off the golem, but I pull out Blue Rose and fire bullet. The bullet rips through the steel column's body and then rips through its core. I continue to walk. I then throw my shield with its chainsaw form straight at the bridge, cutting the bridge, stopping any monsters from getting close. I see all of them attacking a ghost-like figure. I've owned my eyes, but then notice something in its shadow. I pull out a flashbang from the system and throw at the flashbang. Goes off, blinding every. Biddy in the shadow of the boss distort before a pirate undead points his sword towards me. It lets out a low growl, but I just shrug. Motoyasu. What the hell are you doing here? Deku, I got bored. Malty. Sir Motoyasu is right, we don't need the devil of the shield here. I look towards the undead that came out of the shadow, and it rolls splitting up into hundreds. I noticed over heroes go paled, and their parties take a step back. The only thing I did is an eyebrow when I see the names are white. Motoyasu. We don't need you, we can deal with this without you. Deku, knock yourself out. He's confused, but then one of the pirate undead clones, that's at Motoyasu, sending Kim, flying into the wall. The clone has stanza and looks at me. I point my finger up, and out of instinct and curiosity, the undead pirate clone looks at, but then gets slammed down by Iron with his hammer. He raises both arms in a victory motion. I put my head down and shake it. I throw Venom's dagger right at Iron. Iron evaporates into my shadow. And the undead pirates lets clone got stabbed and disappears. System S. Class item ring of Regan item description. Regenerate 1% of M.P per 5 seconds. I raise an eyebrow before equipping the ring. A huge burst of flames annihilate all of the untied pirates. Everybody's confused, but then look towards where the fire came from and sees a phoenix the size of Mount Ladies with a giant wingspan. The phoenix lands on the side of the boat. The phoenix beats, her voice a strong, feminine, but intimidating Scorch. I am Scorch, queen of the phoenixes. I am looking for the one that goes by Izuku Usagiyama. All of the heroes in their party just point at me. I look around in confusion, then point to my thumb at myself. Deku, I'm Izuku Usagiyama. Scorch, I've heard you all the strongest of these heroes. Motoyasu, well, you've heard wrong. I'm the strongest hero. Scorch spreads her wings in a show of power, scaring all of the heroes, and I just look at pulling out a packet of mints. I open this and pop one in my mouth. A huge pillar of fire engulfs Scorch. As an elegant lady wearing a dress that looks like it's made of pure magnet, she walks right in front of me, her eyes narrowing with something hidden in eyes. Scorch, I would like a spare with you. I remove my jacket and hang it on the steering wheel for the ship, a hop from where the captain stands and bland right in front of her. I finish my bag of mints before clicking my knuckles. Deku, so how is this going to go? Scorch, well, I am immortal, so there is no killing me. Deku, I have a scale that when I technically die, I come back to life with 60 seconds of immortality, so we go until that skill activates. Scorch, or until I yield. We walk to the edge of the boat, and then jump off. We land in the middle of the canyon with a huge army of monsters roaring at us. I summon my shadows, and they all look at me. Deku, just make sure none of them get in our way. Godzilla re-enters my shadow, and Veldora sits on a cliff with Alex flying over one of the pathways in the canyon and spewing out fire, burning all of this monsters alive. We both look at each other, then nod. I see in the corner of my all the other heroes and their parties looking at me and my army. In fear means Scorch, take one deep breath before disappearing. Before she could get to me, I raise my hand and slam it down using gravity. Slam, and pinning her to the ground, I hear her bones cracking. But then I immediately rush at her while still using gravity 1, and then kick her square in the side. My foot crushes her ribs and sent her flying into the wall. She climbs out of the crater she created when she got into it. She then looks at me, but I know there's something different. She has a smirk, and her eyes are filled with something. I can't put my finger on it. She uses her flames to create a sword that looks like it's made of feather. She swings it towards me, and I pull out Black Rose sword and Blue Rose. I fire a shot from Blue Rose, it piercing her shoulder and slamming her into the wall. I see her stand up again, her regeneration instantly healing her. Her eyes light up with enjoyment as she rushes at me again. I then notice her name tag floating above her. It is a light red, almost at the same color as Baru's was. My eyes narrow slightly. But then I see her closing her eyes and her body create a fire form of her phoenix form. Scorch, as you can see, I can use my fire to make a clone of me. Deku, oh, you mean something like this? I close both my eyes as my shadow stabs into my back and pulls out my devil trigger. My devil trigger looks at me with a smirk and then stands right next to me. I hear screams of fear, and I just look and shake my head. Scorch looks at me with a raised eyebrow. She then shakes her head and points her sword towards me, her phoenix form spreading its wings and looking at me and my devil trigger Deku. So how are we going to do this, me? I stop and look at my devil trigger who is talking. I then shake my head and then look back towards our opponents. I noticed he has the original Every and Ivory with a more demonic-looking Yamato. The blade is more straight with black vines wrapped around it. With a blue glow from under the vines, he holds Every and Ivory and points it towards Scorch's phoenix form. All four of my devil trigger wings spread out and fly straight towards the phoenix. We both look at each other before shrugging and then immediately rushing at each other, then rush at each other. She wanted fire spheres towards me, and I touched them while swinging my sword, parrying and attacking at the same time. Deku's thoughts. She feels the same way I do. I rush towards her and use some soul sword to reflect some of her fire arrows. I pull out Night Slayer and throw it toward her. She manages to dodge it. I hold my hand out, a purplish black glow appear around my hand as I use Roller's authority to grab Night Slayer, turn it around midair, and pull it in, and us stabbing her in the back of the shoulder. Deku's thoughts. A battle is a conversation. The shifting of a sword's point, the movement of one's gaze, the placement of the feet, all of them. Reflect your opponents well. I jump up in the air and use Ra's authority to grab onto the cliff above us. I pull the cliff down on her, using her fire to melt the rock. I rush toward her, firing 5 rounds from Blue Rose. She melts the bullets before they could even hit her. I SWCH out to Every and Ivory 2.0. I SWCH it to full automatic and fall on that fire regeneration out, healing my shot somewhat. I rush in front of her and swing Blue Rose straight down, slicing, going half a regeneration, instantly healing it before she fires a point-blank fireball. My face getting a little bit of emotion. Deku's thoughts. We read those cues to give each other better responses back and forth again and again. This is the real essence of battle. I brush at a putting of 4 straight to her face before roundhousing her with the back of my other foot, sending her flying back a bit, and her spreading her phoenix wings to get some leverage. Her phoenix form flies back in her, and she turns into it per phoenix form and spread her wings, small feathers floating off, hitting the floor and causing the floor to sing. She flaps her wings, a handful of feathers floating off before firing like bullets for my sniper. I step on one as it flies right past me and use its momentum to turn around. I look at her, my face regaining some emotions. Deku's thoughts. Only a handful of people these days can give me a decent conversation. She spreads her wings, and huge ball of magma start appearing around her. She fires them as she notices something above her, a huge draw of magic. She looks up and sees 5 mana circles in a way she's never seen. I give out a slight smirk as I snap my fingers. All 5 of the magic circles spin and then form a sign of a nuke third-person POV. We see the free Cardinal Heroes that were on the ship completely pale and panicking. Cardinal Heroes. Holy SHD, that's a nuke. Holy SHD, that's a nuke. Deku POV. I close my eyes as the nuke goes off. I slowly open them to see Scorch without a scratch on her. I raising eyebrow at this, and she smirks. I close both of my eyes, and my shadow wraps around my body, slow and deliberate. Everybody is confused at this until the shadows disperse. As I step out of my devil trigger, she looks at me with a smirk and then swings her claws straight towards me. I block with one hand. While looking at her, I grab Yamato and get in a quick draw stance. She raises an eyebrow at this, but then spreads her wings white as a fireball the size of a semi-truck appears above her head. She smirks at me, but I do the same to her. She fires the fireball straight at me. While I slowly unsheath my sword, I walk around, time stand still. I swing my blade wildly. It's slicing through everything. I slice the fireball straight in half. I walk towards still frame, swinging the sword while walking right through her. I understand. Right behind her and go on one knee. I hold the sheath and sword inches apart. I then slam them down together, everything being sliced, nobody almost being vaporized into pieces, but her body heals as she turns around and brings at me my eyes right in slightly, but then she uses her tail and whacks me straight back in front of her. Scorch. This has been a good fight. System. H.P is below 10%. I slowly stand up, putting Yamato back in the system before pulling out the BFG. I hold down the trigger and fire the BFG. One bullet hit her, sending her flying back and pushing her regeneration to its limits. Who are you, survivor? But before she can make another move, I fire another one, her using her fire to defend against the attack. She immediately turns back into a human fall and lies down scorched. I yield. She slowly stands up, following me back to the boat. A roar is heard as the undead pirate captain. I roll my eyes, but then a wind blade cuts it in half. We all look to see a blackhead girl wearing a kimono holding two old-fashioned black war fans. She points her fan towards me. Glass. I'm Glass, and I am here to end this world's heroes. I watch the other free heroes try to attack her, but easily get knocked back and injured. I walk towards her, and she looks at me, her eyes narrowing. Glass. May I know the strong presence in front of me? Deku. Izuku Usagiyama, the Shadow Monarch. Glass. I see. Well, just like those other heroes, I need to kill you so my world can survive. I look up at us standing on the top of the sail. I grab my shield and flip it to the chainsaw function. I throw the chainsaw to the ground. It bounces, cutting the post, holding the sailor on an angle. That's when the sail slides forward a bit and then breaks right through the ship, and she's right in front of me. She blinks, and I just look at she's about to attack me with her fans, but I call the trigger on Black Rose Blonde, a hole through her leg, making her go on her knees. She screams out in pain as I put the barrel of blue rose in her mouth, shutting her up. Deku. 1 or 3 ways. 1, you leave, and next time you want to try something, you go for me first. 2, I blow your brains out, and trust me, I have zero problem. We're doing it. For free, I left all of my beast-type shadows. You view how they see fit. I watch her shakily pull up one finger. I remove the gun from her mouth and put it in my infantry. I pull out a healing potion, and she drinks it. Glass thoughts. Okay, why was that kind of hot? I think I need to change a piece of my COVID. She slowly gets up her likes, shaking the other heroes, looking at me with fear. I look for my system and find something. I pull out to just black war fans that have a picture of 2 narrow blue eyes. I hand it to her. Deku. Get stronger. We might meet again, and maybe next time explain your situation to me. I might be able to help both of us. Her fans have changed color and shape to the ones I gave her. Something changes in her fan. She then disappears with a wave, finishing. Everybody looks at me, but then the boat starts decaying. All the heroes and their party start panicking, but I just simply hop off the edge and land on the ground. I noticed a quest window, and I look at it with confusion. System. New quest: Phoenix Queens. Mate, the Queen of the Phoenixes has challenged you to a sparring match to see if you're worthy as a mate quest. Parameters: when the sparring match reward. My eyes widen as I see the quest, but then I realize something. I see a second system window with the completed quest system. Quest completed: Phoenix Queens. Mate, the Queen of the Phoenixes has challenged you to a sparring match to see if you're worthy as a mate quest. Parameters: when a sparring match reward. Skills: Phoenix Drive, passive fire immunity, 100% Phoenix regeneration level 1, regenerate 5 H.P per 0.6 seconds. Cry of the Phoenix level max. Not only can you sacrifice 1% of your max H.P to create a Phoenix, you can now cry Phoenix tears. I go completely quiet. Third-person POV. We cut back to the void where the shadowy figure and Sparta asset. What kind of quest is that? Sparta. I don't know, but I'm starting to like that system. The system already gave him to mates. Deku POV. I shoot my head and walk out of the canyon. I use Yamato to open a portal to the end where the rest of my parties think Essel heads through the portal, and then close the portal behind her. I stretch. Deku. Tank. My shadow extends as a huge black bear with blue scars covering its body. I hop on its back, and we start walking back towards the capital. Boy, few days I'm stopping. That's night, and slaying a few monsters. I see a girl with blue hair and wearing a blue dress playing with some big bird. A loud scream is heard as a bear with an owl head comes rushing out of the woods. It's about to swipe her, but I pull out Every and Ivory 2.0 and blow 2 holes through the bear's head. I flick it to full automatic before spraying its head full of bullets. I then put Every and Ivory 2.0 in my system. I see it's getting dark, and I pull out a tent out of my system. I look toward her. I then roll my eyes, and then pull out another tent. Melty. I'm Melty Deku. I'm Izuku Melty. So why did you help me? Deku. 'Cause I still want to feel somewhat human. We continue to talk for several hours till the sun finally set. I put 2 of my shadows on guard. While we sleep, we wake up to see Philo snuggled up on my chest. She's about to say something, but then I explain how Philo is a Philolial, and how she can turn into a human, we see Deku, Melty, and Philo walking back towards the capital Deku. Philo, Melty, go. Ahead, sort out what you need to sort out. I'll be at the castle within the hour. Melty drags Philo towards the castle. Deku stands there for a few minutes before letting out a sigh. Deku, what's the situation? Alpha, we have 20 members of Shadow Garden infiltrate the angelic church of the heavens. It goes deeper than we thought. They have demi-humans as slaves under the church, with 24/7 guards, and they're being tortured daily by their posts. Deku, tell Gamma to get ready. We attack in 4. Alpha, right away. All 20 infiltrated members will be on call immediately in 4 days. They also have a ritual blessing the 3 cardinal heroes that should boost their power. Deku will begin that midway through the ritual. In a blink of an eye, Alpha disappears like she wasn't even there. Deku looks at the forest behind him and lets out an annoyed scarf. Deku, you can't hide a presence like that. That's when a girl that is a colossal, pure white, ostrich-like creature with yellow-tipped feather crowns and blue-feathered neck plumes walks out of the forest, her eyes narrowing as slightly looking at Deku. Deku, you don't stop from the first free males without them noticing. So what's your name? Philolial Queen. I'm the Philolial Queen, and I have an offer for your somewhat of a daughter named Philo. Deku, what is this offer? Philolial Queen. Like I would... Deku pulls out blue rose and fires right next to her head. Her eyes go widen as the bullet schemes her ear, piercing right through it. Deku, I won't ask a second time. Philolial Queen. Well, I'm getting old, and they might be immortal, but I still have my limits, so I want Philo to take my place as the queen of the Philolials. Deku, you can ask her yourself, but if she refuses, then you leave her alone. We'll meet you here after sundown. Philolial Queen, I understand. May I ask one thing? Deku, alchemy you this once. Philolial Queen, you're not human, are you? Deku, used to be. Deku walks off and ends up in the throne room. He sees Melty sat on the throne, her legs swaying, while Philo is sat next to her. Deku notices the Pope's eyes are narrowed in anger towards him. The other 3 cardinal heroes now looking at Deku with this dust and disdain. Melty, you should all know currently, I'm acting as ruler until my mother returns. Motoyasu, I'm sorry, what? No offense, you're a little too young to be acting as the ruler. Deku, that's the first princess of this kingdom. Melty, Q, Melromark. That's when I made Hans Deku a sack of gold. Deku opens it and counts it before raising an eyebrow. Melty, there's 10 gold coins and 20 silver in that sack, your payment for returning to me home safely. And now for the business to be a hero. Motoyasu, sword hero Rem, and the bow hero Itsuki. Your reward for defeating the waves is 50 gold coins each. 3 maid walk out with small sacks of coins, all of the heroes taken. Well, Deku slightly raises an eyebrow. That's when the same maid pulls out a sack almost twice the size. Melty, and Mr. Shield Hero for ending the wave and saving the other heroes. You have 100 gold coins in that sack. That's when a fudge is heard next to them, and Deku sees Motoyasu flaming his spear to the ground, causing a small crack onto the floor. Motoyasu, what? You have got to be kidding me. We do all the work. He swoops into the kill, and he gets to reward Melty, and it is also his reward for cleaning up your messes. Everybody goes quiet at that, and Motoyasu goes pale, but with a confused face. It's Suki. I'm sorry, what? We never made any mistakes. Melty, listen, there were one incident with each of you, that is izuku, cleaned up before it could spread even further. Rem, you're right, we never make mistakes. Maybe you might. Melty, okay, we shall begin with Motoyasu. He used a cursed seed for a town that was running out of food. The seed turned into a plant monster, almost consuming and killing all of the residents, but Sir Shield Hero managed to clear out all of the plant and curing the villages. Next, Rem, you slayed a dragon that wasn't even hostile and left its body out to decompose, inflicting a powerful curse and dangerous poison on the entire village. If the Shield Hero was any slower, that village would have been wiped out. And last but not least, Itsuki, you removed a corrupt noble from a small fishing village, which I am grateful for, but you replace it with a more corrupt noble, practically putting it back at square one. But thanks to the Shield Hero removing the character noble and allowing the newest trading company to grace our kingdom, to have control, not only has our seafood supplies went up, Everybody start chatting between them about their free cardinal heroes failing at their jobs. Motoyasu get visibly annoyed at being compared to Deku. Out of pure anger, Motoyasu swings his spear straight at Deku's throat. Deku pulls out Yamato and slices the head of the spear clean off, making everybody's eyes widen, and the Pope starts trembling slightly. Motoyasu goes completely pale and falls on his knees, questioning what just happened. The Pope, that shouldn't be possible. Those weapons are blessed to be indestructible. Not even a divine smite should be able to scratch them. So how in our God's name did you do that? Deku simply sheaths Yamato and holds it in the air with one hand. Yamato, the sword that can cut through anything. One of the free demonic swords of Sparta. Melty, I'm sorry, but I don't know who this Sparta is. May you inform us about this Sparta is. Deku, well, the stories go like this. Sparta was a legendary demon swordsman who rebelled against the demon Emperor Mundus to protect humanity, fighting and sealing him away to close the demon world's gateway, in total separating the demon world from the human world. The Pope, and how do you have your hands on one of this rebellious demon swords? Before deck, you could say anything 12 armored figures covered in white armor that gives off holy energy. Deku sees their names are slightly orange, meaning they're still weaker than him, but compose a little bit of trouble. Deku notices most of them are holding a sword apart from free that are carrying kind of stuff's angelic commander. Search shield hero, you are hereby sentenced to death by the angelic church of the heavens for treason against humanity. You death could be quick and painless, or we will drag it on for the devil. You can die a slow and painful death. Deku, Pope, you wanted to know how I know about Sparta. I learned from my old man, who went from his old man, who is his old man. Simple terms, I'm the great-grandson of Sparta. Everybody goes quiet at that, as a holy sword swings right at Deku's face, but that you easily blocks it with Yamato. Deku, besides, I have some new tricks. A burst of purplish-black energy pulses from Deku, blinding everybody before Devil Trigger steps out, holding a more demonic version of Yamato. The Pope, you are the devil of a shield. Deku, you ain't wrong, and I am 1/4 devil. All the angelic knights start shaking before resolving themselves and drinking the same black potion that Motoyasu drunk in their duels. Deku notices that their names are still white. Deku lights out a sigh before pulling out Ebony and Ivory 2.0. That's when a beat starts to be heard through the entire castle. Everybody looks around in confusion, but Deku starts tapping his foot to the rhythm. Deku, I'm a ghost, do you know this? That's why we broke up in the first place. Everybody's confused before Deku spins Every and Ivory onto his pinkies and starts firing his bullets, ripping through their armor. While he's tapping his foot to the ribbon, Deku stops firing for a second to see only one mate is left standing. But it casts a spell reviving all of them. Deku raises an eyebrow before returning Ebony and Ivory. He unsheaths Yamato and brushes Aston's blade, cutting through their armor like a scolding knife through butter. That's when a thump is heard behind the Deku. He stops and turns around to see the 2007 Kawasaki Ninja X6. He swings his blade upwards, slicing the arm off one of the knights. The armor rips off the body and attaches onto the motorcycle, but in midair the armor turns slightly demonic, and Deku gets a grain with for pulling out Black Rose and do a wheel thing. He rushes after them again, ripping apart their armor with his sword before the last major could resurrect any of them. Deku pulls out Blue Rose, paws the trigger, both bullet to flying into his eyes, blowing out the back end of its skull. Deku looks at the motorcycle to see it turn into a black demonic motorcycle with 4 spikes sticking out the front with a red visor looking light in the front with horns where the handles should be. The bike is slick and black, its presence fully being demonic system. You have received a gift from your grandpa Dante, Cavalier of Devil Arms, that can turn into a buzzoverse. It also will work like a motorcycle, and you can channel mana as fuel 10m.p per 8 second. Note from Grandpa Dante, I'm not sure if this would get to you, kiddo, but I hope you have as much fun with it as I did back in my heyday. Your resident demon hunter, Dante Spira. Level up, Deku. Okay, my grandpa has some good taste. Go 5 into intelligence. Deku returns his weapons to the system, walks up to the bike, and tries to put it in his infantry system. This vehicle cannot be stored in your inventory. Motoyasu, what the hell is that? Deku, Cavalier of Devil's Arms. Now, if that is all, I'll be leaving. Melty, Mr. Shield Hero, hold on, as compensation for the trouble my father has caused you, I will grant any one request from you. Deku, demi-human village that was destroyed in the first wave. Melty, as you wish, Luralona village is now under the Shield Hero's rule and 500 meters after the walls of the village. Deku, Philo, we're leaving. Philo hugs Melty before hopping off the throne. Motoyasu's spear flies right past Deku's head, but he grabs it with one hand. Small sparks shoot off of the spear, but Deku just drops it to the ground. Deku turns around to see Motoyasu with an angry face. Motoyasu, seriously, you couldn't settle with a woman. So you got instead you get a little girl. What's next? A big fat bird. Philo, but I like when he rides on my back. Motoyasu, you have this angel carry you like some sort of fat bird. Deku raises an eyebrow as Philo is looking down while walking towards Motoyasu. She looks at him, her eyes shining red. Philo, I'm not fat, my feathers, I'm just stuffy. Motoyasu, what? Philo transforms into her filial form. She reels her foot back and kicks Motoyasu in the nuts so hard he spits out BLD and goes flying straight into the ceiling. He hits the roof and falls back down, drowning in a pool of his own BLD and saliva. Philo transforms back into a human form. Malty runs up to Motoyasu, panicking slightly. Malty, somebody cast healing magic immediately. A priest immediately heals him, but it doesn't take away his pain. Deku, Philo, ya papa? Deku, well done, we will take the girls to I knew at home, and I'll take you into a gate. Melty, I'm sorry, Mr. Shield Hero, but what is this gate? And could be beneficial to the other heroes? Deku, well, put it simply, it's like a dungeon. Only difference is in another plane of existence. But if the gate isn't cleared within a week, it will break, and any monsters inside of it will immediately break out and slaughter any humans nearby. They are ranked EDCB, S, each one having 3 tiers, low, mid, and high. But if a gate turns red, you're in another world where time flows differently. 1 hour here is 1 day there. Melty, I see, and what rank would all of you heroes be? Deku, what I've seen into the last battles. Motoyasu, high B rank to low A rank rim. He's in the same boat as Motoyasu. Itsuki is a mid to high B rank. Motoyasu, and that would make you at a low to mid B rank. Deku, try a high S rank. And before you even ask, I'm in a solo a high S rank 8. No sucks, all will be leaving. Deku and Philo head out of the castle. Is definitely expression being one of annoyance, and Pain heads back to the end and sees his party casually lounging around, slightly looking like they just got out of fight May. So you finally back. Deku, we have a new base of operations, we'll be leaving in an hour. Mirko, it wasn't the fact that you paid for the rest of the year, they would kick this out immediately. An hour and a half later, everybody is sat on the back of Veldora, well, flying closer to the ocean that has seen better days appears in the horizon. Raftalia starts to cry when she notices what village it is. Veldora land in the center of the town. A bunch of different kind of monsters start going to attack, but they are dealt with ease over the next 2 days. Deku and his shadows repair the village. A bunch of old demi-humans that used to live in the village start to move back in with everybody is enjoying the village, and Deku sought everything out. He then stands at the edge of the village, his party behind him. Deku, you're all going to have to stay here. Raftalia, sorry, but we've agreed that me and Philo will be coming with you. Mirko, we're not used to this world. Philo is technically born in this world, and while violence and Raftalia knows this world more than any of us. Mate, besides, someone needs to keep an eye on this village, and it looks like it's going to be us. Deku, you all sure I won't be coming back for a long time? Deku watches as they all nod. Ended. Deku summons Veldora, pops on his back, followed by Philo and Raftalia. Everybody in the village waves them off, and a few minutes later, at the Shadow Trading Company, Deku is sat in the office with Alpha. Right in front of him on the table is the blueprint to the church. Deku, tomorrow is the ritual. I'll wait in the main area waiting for X to begin. Then I will hop in, and that's when we'll get started. Alpha, so for now, it's just the waiting game. But we need to get Raftalia her uniform. On the day Deku is sat on top of the statue, his dark outfit blending in with a lack of light. The Pope walks in, followed by Shadow Garden and a few others. Angelic Pope, we're here for the sole reason to buff up the free cardinal heroes to help us against the devil of the shield. Deku, while very motivating speech, unfortunately, I can't have you doing it. Deku hits the ground in his shadow robes. His eyes widen before you could say anything. 90% of the nuns in this standard black slime seems to swell around them as their outfits change into shadow garden robes. Deku, I am Shadow, he who lurks in the shadows to hunt the shadows. Shadow Garden. We are Shadow Garden, they who lurks in the shadows to hunt the shadows. That's when Brew, Iron, and Tank step out of Deku's shadow. The Pope is about to run away, but then bumps into somebody. He looks up and sees his ace as a shadow. His eyes widen as his face pales. Angelic Pope. Alicia, why are you working for the devil of a shield? Jackie. It's now Jackie the Ripper. She immediately slices off his head, and Deku, raising an eyebrow. That's when the doors burst open as hundreds of knights step through. That eyes widen when they see Jackie, Angelic Knight. Lady Alicia, why are you working with the devil of the shield, the one who you swore to end? Jackie, oh Mark, you see, that's where you're wrong. I did swear to kill him until he brought me back to life. And now it's Jackie the Ripper. All of the Angelic Knights' eyes widen as Jackie rushes at them and starts killing them instantly. That's when 8 of the Angelic Knight summon angelic beings, making decorating eyebrow. That's when you can hear the Pope's voice behind him, and he turns around to see the Pope standing up with not even a scratch. Angelic Pope, by the source of thy power, heed my call for help. Heavens, help us purge the evil from in front of me. I summoned Gabriel, the Archangel of War. A bright glow envelopes the entire building, everybody an angelic figure wearing full white robes and blonde hair silent. That's when a bright red name the same as Igris was when Deku first met him. The 10 wings behind Gabriel spread, making the entire room be reduced to rubble, revealing the night sky. Deku lets out an annoyed sigh before pulling out Yamato. Gabriel raises an eyebrow before speaking, his voice strong, but with a huge sense of caution. Gabriel, may I know where you got Sparta's sword from? Deku, Sparta's my great-grandpa. Gabriel, well, shall we begin? Great-grandson of Sparta. Deku immediately goes devil trigger, making Gabriel's name turn orange in a blink of an eye. They both disappear and reappear with their swords clashing. Deku notices that the sword is cutting through it, but it's repairing itself. They continue to clash their swords before Deku gets launched out of his devil trigger form, making Gabriel's eyes widen. Deku pulls out Ebony and Ivory 2.0 and start firing while his devil trigger is locking. In close quarters combat, that's when hundreds of blue portals appear around the area with the Angelic Pope laughing. That's when thousands of angels, some with 2 wings, some with 4, come walking out and pointing their weapons towards Deku. Gabriel, you think I came alone? You are outnumbered. I have 20,000 strong. Deku, you're right, you did think I came alone, because not only is my devil trigger holding you off, come forth my shadows. The entire place goes completely silent as Deku's shadow slowly extends the shadow, scraping across the floor right behind him, passing the portals that just closed to reveal Deku, whose entire shutdown armies. That's when a bright light appears as Dialga steps out, making all of the angels' eyes widen. That you snaps his fingers as the battlefield goes quiet for a second then, and all out of war happens between his Deku's shadows and the angels. Deku rushes back towards Gabriel and his devil trigger, shooting the angels, and he immediately summons Cavalier and floored his wheels ripping through angels. He uses one of the piles of bodies as a ramp, flying straight towards Gabriel. In midair, Deku hops off Cavalier. The bike splits into with Deku grabbing both ends. The wheels grow spikes, turning into 2 buzz source. Deku swings the blades down right at Gabriel's back, slicing 2 of his wings off. Gabriel grows to extra hands with 2 maces and whacks Deku back. That's when Gabriel looks over the battlefield to see most of his soldiers are dead, but his numbers are still strong. Before he could say anything, a purple circle envelopes the area, making Gabriel's eyes widen. Decode just laughs psychotically while all of Gabriel's soldiers start getting sliced apart by Igris and Baru. Purple streaks are slashing through the entire area. That's when Gabriel grows for extra wings, making Deku's eyes widen. Gabriel, I see you are stronger than I expected, but still, I am an archangel. You can't do Noth Dash. Okay, what are you 2 doing? We see Deku and Devil Trigger. Deku stood there in a quick draw stance. Deku with Yamato with Devil Trigger, holding Black Rose in a quick draw stance. They both disappear within an instant and appears right where the other one was stood. They both Deku's devil trigger. I'm the storm that is approaching. Streaks of purple and green light slashes Gabriel into a million pieces. Deku looks at the battlefield with all of them finally being defeated. Deku sees the familiar message above all of the corpses. Deku, you are all angels, swaining battle soldiers who have proved their worth. Now how about instead of joining the empty, being part of the void of death, you join with me? Arise. The battlefield goes completely quiet, then hands start to reach out of everybody. After 5 minutes of all the angels standing up, Deku turns around to the corpse of Gabriel. Deku puts his hand on it. Gabriel's body. Deku closes his eyes for a few seconds before saying in a gentle tone, Deku, Gabriel, join my army and arise. The shadow refuses to come out. Deku tries again. Deku notices Gabriel's heart. He grabs the heart and holds it in his hand. He says arise while crushing the heart. And that's when a black lightning bolt hits. That's when a block version of Gabriel steps out from the lightning bolt hit. He goes on one knee. System 20,000 Shadow Angels, rank Knight. Gabriel, rank Elite Knight. Shadow Storage 29. 771/infinite system buff. From now on, when you crush the heart of a fallen opponent while using Shadow Extraction, you will immediately resurrect with no issues. Deku head back to the church, and Gabriel immediately decapitates the Pope. Deku heads to the altar and kicks this out the way, revealing a passage. Raphtalia and Philo down decor. She's a bunch of cages with some female demi-humans of all the shapes and sizes. Deku purchases a smoke farm filled with knockout gas and froze it. Down the hallway, the smoke instantly knocking out all of the den humans. Deku sees a few of them naked with white stuff coming out of their vaginas and other holes. Deku lets out an annoyed sigh. Some members of Shadow Garden enter each cell, bringing out all of the demi-humans, and Deku continues walking down. Then he sees a giant cage made of silver. Deku boots the door open to see a phoenix on the break of death, trained up with smoke coming from the chain. The phoenix slowly opens its eyes while raising its head. Deku sees a muzzle made of silver, and he shakes his head. He pulls out blue rose and blasts right through the chains. The phoenix hits the ground, not even moving properly. Deku, sorry, I couldn't do any more. Deku notices a nest of 3 phoenix eggs, and that Deku's eyes go narrow. He lets out a scream, resembling a phoenix. A pillar of fire appears behind him as Scorch steps out of the pillar. When she sees the state the phoenix is in, her eyes narrow, dangerously. Scorch, and the humans that did this? Deku, being slaughtered as we speak. So what about her? Scorch, I would take her back with me, but just like she wouldn't survive the trip home. Deku, I could have Godzilla me correct cave underneath my village. Scorch, also looks like she'll be having 2 more eggs within the year. Deku, I'll have Godzilla watching her 24/7 since he's probably dealt with a couple phoenixes. Deku's shadow extends as Godzilla slowly steps out, removing the stone from above them. Valdora slowly picks at the phoenix and places her own Godzilla's back. Godzilla heads toward the village while Valdoria enters the shadow. Deku hugs Scorch, her tears slightly fore-length, and her expression sad. Deku, I should have moved in sooner. Scorch, it's not your fault. I should have known they had one of mine. Deku, I know what you're thinking. Yes, humanity is pretty shitey, but you're not wiping them out. Scorch, fine. Deku, see you in a bit. She locks her lips with Deku's 3 minutes before pulling away and flying off to catch up with Godzilla. Deku pulls out the black key that he got a while ago and notices he can open it now. When he does, a giant blue portal appears in front of him, and he turns to Raphtalia and Philo. Deku, listen, I'm gonna go in by myself. I should be back within the hour. Philo, but I'm hungry. Raphtalia, I don't mind waiting until you return. Deku steps through the portal from the black key, and that looks around, his eyes narrowing the familiar dark walls with the knights. He thinks it's a different version of it, but then he sees the chip on the knight's sword. He looks around and sees the BLD marks of heads. Deku walks to the center of him, getting a slight smile. Deku, so you're the creator of this place. I couldn't sense it before, but not as clear as day. Deku looks towards the statue holding the tablet. The statue starts to laugh before breaking the tablet and staring at Deku. Deku, so what are you? Architect. Why is quite simple in the architect of your system. Deku, I want answers. Architect. Way, of course I will give you answers, but first. System. New quest battle for answers. Defeat all of your opponents and the architect will give you answers about everything. Reward answers. That's when Free of the Night statues stand up and run towards Deku. Deku tries to summon one of his shadows system. Shadows have been deactivated in this dungeon. Deku pulls out Yamato. He swings the blade, the light shining off the blade, creating a crescent moon of light. Deku's eyes narrow, and the architect's eyes, showing glimmer of surprise. Deku get hit by a blast from the giant statue. The dust dies down from the blast, and Deku is stood there unfazed. Deku towards the statue and rushes at him. Deku uses ruler's authority to grab its shoulder and pull himself straighter. He lands at one haymaker on its face, knocking it back down into its throne. Deku immediately start throwing rapid punches at the giant face, knocking it inwards. A giant stone arrow flies right at Deku, but he kicks it straight out of the air, making it fly straight into the giant's shoulder. Deku swings Yamato in rapid succession, destroying the giant statue. He hits the ground, and notice that there are 50 more statues. Deku rashes at them, parrying and attacking in rapid succession. Deku looks around to see the only thing that's left is the architect. The architect starts slow, clapping well, laughing. 4 wings spread from the architect's back as 8 hands appear, holding different weapons. Architect, your test still hasn't been completed. There's still one opponent left. Deku looks towards him and sees he doesn't have a name tag. In a blink of an eye, the architect is right in front of Deku and swings the axe on one of his hands. Deku just barely ducks, having a bit of his hair chopped off. He flies back, slamming his foot into the ground, ripping up the concrete. Before Death, who could move that architect, swings a sword straight towards Deku, but Deku slices his sword in half with Yamato. Deku throws his shield, bouncing off the wall and hitting the architect in the back of the head. It bounces back to Deku's arm. He switches to the chainsaw shield and throws at the architect, uses a mace to block the shield, but he uses a shield to block it. It's slowly ripping through. Dark purple swords made of pure energy start appearing around Deku and shooting straight at the architect. The architect continues to block and swipe, but doing barely any damage to Deku. That's when the architect snaps his fingers on one of his hands, making everything a stop for Deku. The architect uses the back end of an axe and sends Deku flying into the wall. Deku looks around to see no system windows. Architect, I see you are good with the system. For what about without it? Deku falls to the ground, BLD coming out of his mouth. Then he hears footsteps. He sees an all too familiar face walking up to him and going on one knee. Deku's eyes lock with a younger him with a meester fungus across his entire right eye. We meet again. Last time we met, you're weaker, and now you're just the coreless kid again. What were we thinking? We are just waste of space, a quirkless wannabe hero. We should have just died in that alleyway. Nah, now that is not who we are, is it? System, new skill, new rage of flames. For now on, when you get angry, your attacks will be imbued with fire magic. The more angrier you get, the hotter your flames. New shield, rage. Shield, a shield made from the 7 deadly sin of rage. Turn your rage into power. Architect, how are you able to access the system? I took it away from you. Deku, I am the storm that is approaching, provoking black clouds in isolation. I am reclaimer of my name. Born in flames, I have been blessed. My family crest is a demon of death. Deku's shadow wraps around him, forming his devil trigger, but he has 6 wings covering his back. They fold up to form a somewhat of a trench coat. Deku's eyes are bright purple. The cracks in his horns are pulsing green with his heartbeat. Architect, how these aren't any of his abilities. This shouldn't be possible. How are you able to use the system? Deku, first thing the system did when I came to this world was merged with the one in the shield, and turns out that even after the cardinal shield is separated from its users, their system still stays intact, meaning as soon as I came to this world, your system became mine. I always fought when the system Scott took him away. I would be useless, but it turns out Sparta. Deku immediately getting a quick draw stance before the architect could say anything. Deku stands up right behind the architect, his sword tapping the ground, the architect's hands and legs being immediately chopped off. Deku walks right in front of the architect, pointing his blade directly at his throat. That's when Deku sees a battlefield between demons and monsters. Decor raises an eyebrow as armies of monsters, demons, and insects are fighting to the death. That's when Deku notices a black portal as Armies of shadows that look similar to his, but more powerful. The shadows rush at all the demons and beasts, ripping them apart. In all ways, Deku notices that the insect-type monsters are helping the shadows. Deku's confused by this, but then sees that's when Deku sees the demoned monarch fighting a woman with pale skin, long black hair, and glowing red eyes, who wields venom, necromancy to create insect humanoid corpses, and can manifest giant green hands. Sees a all too familiar shadow fighting alongside her with a long sword the same side of him and his familiar right ponytail like from the helmet. Deku's thoughts. Hold on, isn't that Igris? That's when a flash happens in Deku's eyes, making him close them. Then he opens his eyes to see him stood next to that woman from earlier. Deku's hands move without him thinking about it and grabs her shoulder. He sees it resembles his devil trigger hand, but looks completely different. He hears his voice, but it is slightly different at the same time. It sounds like it's his. Arise! All of the fallen monsters in battle immediately resurrect and start going crazy, fighting all the other monsters. Another flash in his eyes, and he stood inside of a field. Deku slowly starts to walk through the field, regaining his own movement. He continues to walk, and then steps in front of a large and muscular shadow warrior with glowing flame-like purple hair, glowing purple eyes, 2 curved black horns, and sharp claws. He also wore jet black armor and a long, smoky black cloak, and wielded a pure black sword. Deku walks up to him as he sits on a bench next to him. Ashbourne. So, I finally get to meet my successor. Those were some of my memories. Before you ask, we will meet again, but for now, that lady, keep an eye on her. Deku opens his eyes, shaking away the Disney nest. Deku hears laughter behind him and turns around to see the architect rocking at Deku with confusion. Architect, why isn't it working? The Black Heart should give you his body. You're not my lord. Deku, so that's what there is. That's why every time I get stronger, my emotions seem to fade. I do have to thank you, architect. If it wasn't for you, I never would have known my family heritage. But now you pissed me off. That's when a bunch of monsters break through with crimson red names. Architect, sorry, but you ain't getting out of here alive. This was made for my MSTR, and that was it. But there are some promising humans here that I could put in your situation for a little while, but give them a lot more restrictions. Deku, system deactivate Blackheart. Architect, what are you doing? System, emotions will be returned for 4 minutes. Deku, I've been fighting like Virgil, always serious, and it doesn't seem to suit me. So I'm going to try fighting Dante style. Deku snaps his fingers as heartbeat begins to play, making the architect look around in confusion. That's when a monster's raw and rush at Deku takes 1 step and immediately launches straight in the air, then slams down right on top of the monster that charged. Deku purchases a hat for the system, spins it on his finger, and flips it onto his head. He starts snapping his fingers with the beat. He starts to Michael Jackson moonwalk as a giant. Wolf rushes it, puts his pointer finger towards the wolf. First his hips forward, then it does a backflip, kicking the jaw of the wolf, sending its head straight up, snapping its neck. The final 4 monsters rush at Deku, and Deku taps his foot while the monsters start to surround him. They day-tat him, but he immediately does a pirouette straight up in the air and stands on the roof before slamming his feet down, launching him straight to the ground, and he Superman flies straight into a punch, crushing one of their skulls, then head-spinning, kicking 2 of them, sending them flying back. He looks at a sword from one of the statues, kicks it into the F, grabs it, and frozen, the sword ripping through one of the monsters. Deku jumps in the air, snaps his fingers as hundreds of thousands of minor swords surround him, forming a somewhat of a disco ball before exploding everywhere, ripping through everybody who's in there. And Deku walks right toward the architect, who is just barely staying alive. Deku, see, I would say thank you, but there's no point thanking a corpse. Deku puts his foot on the architect's head. That's when giant foot goes to kick him, but he grabs it with 1 hand, rips off the foot, and throws it back at the giant statue. He then slams his foot down on the architect, crushing its skull. Deku turns back to the statue that is still moving, and 50 more statues appear. Deku snaps his fingers, making all of the statues confused. Deku rushes at the tight-turned statue. It charges Earth, its lasers, and just before it fires, Deku uses Ruler's authority to manipulate its head, blasting away all of them He then crushes the Titan's head and then rips it off. Deku looks around with a smirk. Deku purchases some gum from the system and just pops it in his mouth while looking at the carnage around him. That's when a white key with 2 wings and a halo appears in his hand. Deku tosses the key into his infantry system. The test has been completed. Random shadow summon slot has been activated. Would you like to use it? Deku, I accept. After a few seconds, all the corpses around him shoot out their shadow to form a cocoon that then dispersed, revealing a humanoid black hedgehog with peach on its arm, stomach, face, and in the ears it wears white gloves, red shoes, with right stripe going through the middle with a cocky expression. System X rank summons Sonic the Hedgehog faster than light speed, almost invincible, also having 12 forms, rank Elite Knight. Deku. What the actual? Name Izuku Usagiyama, age 14, level 107, quirk, locked gender. Male, height 5 feet 7 inches, strength 176, agility 222, vitality 115, intelligence 201, luck 126, perception 181, shadow army, technoblade, rank legend, Igris, rank ace, Sam, rank knight commander, Veldora, rank right ace, 57, shadow knights, rank soldier 200, shadow elves, rank knight alpha, rank knight commander beta, rank knight commander gamma, rank knight commander delta, rank knight commander epsilon, rank knight commander zeta, ranked knight commander eta, rank knight commander 3272, shadow guard members, rank knight iron, rank knight commander 3, shadow mages, rank soldier 9, shadow bears, rank soldier, shadow ants 5765, rank soldier, Godzilla, rank shadow god, Dialga, rank shadow god, 5, angelic assassins, rank elite soldier 297, shadow skeletons, rank knight Baru, rank ace, Jackie, rank general Alex, rank elite knight 20,000, shadow angels, rank knight Gabriel, rank elite knight Sonic the Hedgehog, rank elite knight. Familiar name SBO, age 185, gender female, height 7 feet 3 inches, system friends. Name Raphtalia, age adult, demi-human, species perk when leveling up appearance will change, including age adawns. Name Cash, species spider, demi-human, name Rampage, species wolf, demi-human, titles one who overcame death every percent of HP. He loses exchanges percentage into damage. King of the monsters, when this tank always equipped any monster base shadow will have a 10% increase in XP gain for the player's shadow. When in a dark environment, HP will double, MP will triple, skills shadow extraction level max, can take any shadow from any creature's shadow storage level max, unlimited amount of shadows, perseverance level 3, when on 1 HP, forget the effect immortality for 60 seconds, and regen 1% max, H.P, as long as effect immortality is active, 1 hour cooldown, BLD, level max reduce the enemy's attack by 30% and decrease defense by 30%. Item the storm that is approaching level max requires a sword. Get into a quick draw stance, and unshe fit you will teleport right behind your enemy, well, dealing 1 million slashes, total attack damage x 1060 seconds, cool down 60 seconds from where battle. Begin summon familiar level 5. Summon your familiar from anywhere. I am atomic. Level max, isolate a place by marking it with atomic explosion that will eradicate anything in the isolated zone. Here comes the sun. Level 1, create 5 magic circles that will create a nuclear explosion. Deadshot. Level 2, accuracy, plus 15% manner shot, level max. Turn 1M.P into 1,204 bullets. Cry of the Phoenix. You haven't locked to infantry shadow. Your inventory can now be shared with your shadows, and they can put items in unlocked monarch domain. Level max, cost 1% of max M.P, where the player sees as the battlefield. Monarch domain will cover all shadows, will have a 100x increase in stats. Shadows will be twice as strong and cost 0.1 M.P. To resurrect XP will be tripled in Monarch's domain. Shadow manipulation, you can now manipulate your shadow at will. Passive 0M.P, gravity slam, a circle appear on the ground that you can force gravity to be 100x stronger, cost 200 M.P. Ruler's authority, Level 1 passive skill. Create a hand of pure energy that you can manipulate like at your own devil trigger level max. Become your devil form. For 20 minutes, all your stats will be increased by X 500 warning skill will go on a 10-minute. Cooldown. Every kill will bring it down by 1 second. Soul Blade. Turn your soul into swords that you can manipulate that will. Cast 100M.P. Demon Stance. Separate human from devil trigger. While using Demon Stance, your XP will be triple devil arms. After defeating gay bars, there's a chance the boss will turn into a devil arms. Phoenix Drive. Passive fire immunity. 100% Phoenix regeneration. Level 1. Regenerate 5 H.P per 0.6 seconds. Cry the Phoenix level max. Not only can you sacrifice 1% of your max H.P to create a Phoenix, you can now cry Phoenix Tears. Weapons. Black Rose Sword. Attack 40. When holding sword, anyone who attacks will take 0.1% of damage with every hit. Original Yamato attack. Damage infinite. A sword that can cut through anything and create portals. Night Slayer does X2 damage on armed opponents. Venom's dagger attack. 100. A blade that is covered in a deadly poison deals 1% of max HP damage every 30 seconds. Cardinal Shield can absorb materials for a different shield every and ivory 2.0 to custom-made 45 long sides. What are a mix of Desert Eagle's regular 45 long slides and Glock 19 every and ivory. Original to 45 long slides used by the Sparta family. These weapons have been passed down through 2 generations. Can turn 1M.P into 1 bullet. BFG the Big Gun. A gun that shoots a bowl of energy that vaporizes anything in its path. Unlimited uses. Cost 5% of max M.P. Blue Rose Double Barrel Revolver weapon. Has armor-piercing grounds that can pierce 90% of armor's. Warning. Will not pierce holy armor. Will damage holy armor outfit. Shadows robes. When wearing them in a dark environment will negate 99% of damage. Health regen 5% per second. Mana weaken 5% per second. When in a bright environment, stats will be halved. 1 normal, 2 elite, 3 soldier, 4 knight, 5 elite soldier, 6 elite knight, 7 commander, 8 general, 9 legend, 10 right-hand commander, 11 ace, 12 shadow god, 13 marshal, 14 finally grand marshal. Thank you for joining us on this journey through What If Deku Was Mirko's Son with leveling system. We hope you found it as captivating as we did. A big thank you to Wolf React for creating such an engaging story. Don't forget to visit their profile on Wattpad for more fantastic works. The link is in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Zen and Fanfics for more intriguing explorations into fanfiction and fantasy. Your support helps us create more content like this, and we love hearing your thoughts and suggestions in the comment section. See you soon in the next video.